Happy Saturday. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and we're live for a special edition of Popcorn Planet Live because Star Wars fans want to castrate me. I mean, apparently, what I said defending Gina Carano was so awful. Dude, I'm still kind of shocked by it. Like, I'm not like upset by it in that I'm really worried I'm going to get castrated, obviously, here. I'm not actually a victim in this. But what just really bothered me last night as I tweeted in defense of Gina Carano in a Star Wars thread, just flippantly, while I'm like in my bed just dozing off, the vitriol and just the ugliness from the Star Wars, inclusive, progressive fans that I've always considered myself to be, just attacking in such an awful, disgusting way. And then just labeling, oh, you guys are the bullies, and now of course you're playing the victim. And it's like, I'm just watching it all from afar, who's someone who's not been as engaged in this topic, and I realize I need to get more engaged in this topic. I want to meet some of these more people. I want to learn more about the fandom menace. Just by having this stream tonight, people are going to call me alt-right, fandom menace, conservative, Trump supporting, bigot, everything. I'm going to get everything in the book, but I've realized they're already doing that, even though none of it's true. So I thought it's time to open up the doors. Let's really have some more serious conversations. Let me try to learn from some of these people to figure out what's actually going on. I'm going to offer my own insight. I may not agree with it all, but tonight I want to just come to Jesus, have a conversation with a lot of you, because I know a lot of you were upset seeing what was out there, and let's just have a talk tonight. Let's talk about what happened. Let's share some facts. Let's talk about what happened to me specifically, just so you can see it from a context. And let's talk about these articles that Bounding Into Comics made, as well as Gina Carano. What did she actually do? And then if we have time and as it goes, I want to open up the phone lines to you guys to be able to call in. So that's the plan tonight. So thank you for coming with me tonight, Saturday night, live. I appreciate all you guys. I see so many people in the chat. Stefania, Marcos, so many amazing regulars in here. James, I can't call you all out, but please, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Let's get to this. Let's see who I have so far. We have some other guests. Midnight's Edge is going to be coming in tonight, as well as some other people may be popping in and out. So good stream tonight, I hope. Let's get to it. Drunk C3PO, I am a grifter, man. Did I send you the link? You are. I'm telling you, man, quit putting this date off. You and I are going to have a date at one point. We're gonna get this weird tiff. Is there? I don't know. I'm a fan of you, man. Come on by when you're ready. The ball's in your court.
The real question is, are you a fan of candy corn or not?
No, I'm not a fan of candy corn.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that could be a problem. But Jay, you have it too if you want to pop in. Anyway, thank you for all being here. So here's who I got so far. And again, more people may show up. We have John Trent, who writes for Bounding Into Comments. What's your official title over there, just so we can say it properly?
Editor-in-chief.
You're in charge of it all.
I call myself founder and editor-in-chief.
Founder. I was always trying to figure out what to call myself at Screen Junkies. Founder, editor-in-chief. So you're the big cheese, safe to say.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So good. I want to ask you some questions. Let's put it all out there. People are going to talk because I want to learn this. But you wrote some articles. We're going to get to it. Thank you for being here, having this conversation with me. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
next to you, always happy to have my man Paul. Paul did me some research today because I didn't have time to get into all this as much as I wanted to because I had other stuff to do. I had stuff I needed to get done. But in between, I was helping Paul gather some evidence and stuff to put together tonight, some receipts, so we could really have some stuff to talk about more clearly. So thank you, Paul, for all the work you did today. Thanks for being here as well.
No worries.
And then let me invite, it looks like Tom and Rob. Robot Shlomo are in the building as well. They can hear me rant and get involved in this as well. Tom from Midnight's Edge. Rob, what's up, guys? Come on in as it works. Good to have you guys.
How's it going?
It's going good. I was just setting up the tone for tonight's stream, which is just to fill you in. Look, I've sort of not paid attention or gotten involved in sort of all this Star Wars drama. I've watched the movies and I've had my issues with those damn movies and Kathleen Kennedy. But I think a lot of people have just like quantified certain groups, the fandom menaces and all these people in ways that I finally am realizing just isn't fair. And also I'm seeing the real ugly side from the progressive Star Wars fans who are supposed to be all, inclusive and helpful of everybody. They're just ugly bullies. And last night, as some of the events that happened for me, I've seen it happening and I'm not oblivious to it all, but beyond just the castration and stuff, which makes me laugh, but as Jay called from a furry, apparently, all of it just opens my eyes just how depressing this fandom is becoming. And I've seen people like Jeremy and Theory bring things. I'm watching like a lot of fandoms uniting in a way that's encouraging and inspiring. Yet here we still have this other side that is just out there just trying to bully us all. And so I want to thank you for coming here, guys, Tom and Rob. Midnight's Edge, you guys have talked about this in great more depth than me, so hopefully you'll be able to educate me a bit. But that's the tone tonight, and we may take some calls, we may have some other guests, but I appreciate you all coming in here. Thanks for being here, guys.
Am I muted? I'm muted.
You're unmuted?
No, you're not.
You should be.
I'm not. Damn, you can hear all my nasty thoughts now.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
do
no,
hear
thanks for having us, man. It was it was interesting to hear from you.
How's my mic? Is my mic coming in clear?
You sound nice and good. Yeah, I can lift it up.
Okay,
You've
you're
never
gonna-
used this before, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll regret that saying that later. So I'm pretty
I
sure
may.
I'll say something stupid. So
We all do. See, and I've heard bad things about all of the people on this stream. Let's be honest. I'm sure they all heard shit about me. I want to get to a place where I could judge people by actually meeting them and speaking to them first, before we all rush to judge and cancel people, which happens way too often nowadays in our online world. So there you guys are. So welcome. Let's get to know each other. Let's have a talk. So I want to hear from you. But do you mind? Do you guys humor me as I do a quick recap of what happened? If you don't mind, you guys should be able to see this.
No problem.
You guys should be able to see this, and then I'm going to open it up. But so Paul did this for me because everyone's going to say, "Oh, Andy's being a victim here. He's showing it," but I just wanted to sort of show how quickly it turned. And this happens anytime I'm on a thread pretty much, but usually Zack Snyder cult people, the worst of the Zack Snyder fans usually do it the most. But last night, Star Wars fans, they took it personally and dirty, right out the gate, right to your jugular. Who are you? Aren't you the sexual assault predator, rapist? Aren't you the pedo? They just went to these false things to attempt to negate any opinion I had, because they didn't ever want to, have actual civil discourse or actually get their facts in order. And so, immediately it triggers me of just oh my God, these are all ignorant bullies. It just immediately. So just quickly, Paul, you can attest to some of this. I don't want to hound on this too much, but give me the greatest hits. This, you just pulled the worst of the worst, but there were just, it was brutal. Here's more bolt cutters from me. Here's someone on my Instagram, you bitch ass racist. I will steal Andy's penis and donate to a trans man for better use. I mean, this stuff was insane, Paul. Tell me about it. Cause I didn't even read all these. Anything you want to sort of spotlight or mention?
Yeah, so I just went to the main Star Wars, the thread underneath where they were defending, or they were standing with her, and your post was prime and center. So everyone that went to there for a bit there were just getting your post immediately.
Yeah,
that one. Yeah,
5,000 likes. Thanks. So clearly, as all these trolls, 400 of them want to call me out. Over 5,000 people agreed, which tells you something. It is a fair comment.
Yeah, and so there was a ratio there. And so, I just clicked on each one of those, and you also brought receipts from down below that for all the harassment Gina's got. And it was all of those comments under there were just, aren't you a pedo? Aren't you this person? Aren't you the person that sexually assaulted someone? Weren't you fired from Screen Junkies for assaulting somebody? It was just all that sort of that same echoing rhetoric over and over again throughout all of it. I mean, I remember messaging you just going, oh my, fuck me. There's so much. There's I said, there's 3 pages of this. I got to condense it down because there's so many, just people just coming on and just basically just dredging up that same old article, getting dredged up over and over again and pasted into Twitter, that they refused to adjust or recant, which just has that's the one that came out just after Harvey Weinstein, which it has a false title on it. It's not true. You've proven it's not true, and they just continue to post that same article over and over.
Yeah, and so
a tweet condemning bullying.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just going to say,
exactly.
And all of this came from the fact that this was from the Star Wars tree. I just want to, and I want to get your guys' opinion because I don't know what's going on with Krystina Arielle, and you guys can fill me in. And I did read the article here and bounding into comics. I mean, my takeaway from this is you pulled her tweets. I understand why some people don't like what she said. I look, I can see the other side too of like, this is obviously Black Lives Matter. There's a lot of high feelings. I'm one of just like, whatever, say it out there. I'm not as offended as some people on this chat or in my audience are, but I didn't find your article offensive or bullying her. I found your article just sort of, these are the realities of what you said. And for the fact that Star Wars came out of the gate to stand up for her, of all the people that have had this type of stuff happen to them, it was just telling to me, because I was like, why? You've ignored so many other issues, but now she gets the defense. I mean, I think we all know the answer to that, but what do you guys think of that? Why did she get the prime Star Wars tweet real estate?
Because she is, well, again, I don't know how much you want to get into quote unquote politics on this whole thing, but that's what it really boils down to, is who's in the right political group and who's not, who has spoken out on the right political leanings and who hasn't, or who has been silent, because, you know, to them, that's like a consensual thing, that if you're silent about something. And Gina, like, I mean, all this really, I'm sure, as you know, started from the whole idea that she didn't want to be forced to put her pronouns in her bio, and she didn't see the reason for that. And there's some people who have had legitimate reasons that they don't want to do that. And one of them is sometimes they just don't want, you know, their sexuality out there. They don't want to share that. They don't want to be doxxed in some way or something like that in that sense. And, you know, when people, you know, are just forcing you to do that, and then they turn around and they create this false narrative around you, that's where this all starts. And then it just spreads like wildfire. And that's usually their first go-to, is they try to create some false narrative that isn't there. And obviously you've seen that firsthand now.
Yeah.
Or they hang on to something that somebody misconstrued or was completely, you know, not true.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to bring up the whole history with Gina, because Paul, thank you for pulling all this. There's just some good data here. Data Racer pulled up so much of this too. I tried to get him on the chat, but he was busy. But I'm a big fan of the work he puts in there. But you just, so people understand, because I know a lot of people are like, no, but she's this and this. I've paid closely attention, so I'm not defending her if I felt like she was any of these things, and she's not. And just so you have all the facts here, Pedro Pascal got it first, where they came after him. Put your pronouns in, and he did it. And I supported it and said, you know, fine, here we go. And then they immediately went after Gina, and she just was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then they, you know, he helped me understand why people were putting them in bios. I didn't know before, I do now. I won't be putting them in my bio, but good for all of you who choose to do it. I stand against bullying, especially the most vulnerable, and freedom to choose. And so then they wouldn't let her down. They wouldn't stop. And so, you know, she puts the beep bop boop as a knock at the people who are bullying her, who are demanding it. And she hates our guts. She's trans. Like, it was horrific to what it was. And then you actually go through and, you know, she's saying she doesn't support Black Lives Matter, but she had. Like, the facts are all there if you actually want to go do the research. She got in trouble for standing up for against the mob. And so it's just like, she's been bullied. I mean, these are horrific. The Guy Fieri pictures, like, it's just horrific what kind of bullies have been going after her nonstop. And the other side doesn't want to hear any of that. They did, oh no, this is just another racist standing up for racists. There's accountability here.
This isn't bullying to them.
What? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to keep talking. I want to hear some thoughts. Yeah. So what do you think it is? Why are they doing this?
They are. They think that they're in the right, and then this is their mission to get it done, and they want to get it done, like, because it's the right thing to do, and they think they're in the right, and they want people to follow their path, the way.
Yeah, this is not the way.
Yeah, but they don't see themselves as being bullies.
Yeah,
they see themselves on the right side of history. John's right. Yeah.
Right, and it's like, I believe in the movements they're pushing for, but some of them have gotten so aggressively confident, and, well, it's so important that I can bully people for it, is what I'm seeing, which really, like, scares me, because I think that's where a lot of these people, and this here's the person who tried to castrate me, like, she's tripled down and just done just horrific things and said some of the most ridiculous things on here, but it's like she's just there drunk with power in a way, thinking that she can just do whatever she wants. I mean, like, I'm not bothered by this person, but it just frustrates me of just like, why are we letting people, why is this person not censored off of the platform, guys? Like, I don't get it. Like, why are they're all worried about Parler and the Nazi stuff that's happening there, but then we see it clearly here on Twitter and they do nothing.
Well, it shows the double standard.
Yeah, it's the irony of people like this, is that they have that, they're drunk on power and they're actually acting like fascists. Like they are like curtailing people's speech. That, like you see it with Gina, she's like, I don't want to do that, and they want to cancel her because she doesn't want to do it. She just want to do it. That's all she said. I just don't want to do it. I respect you, but I don't want to do it. But let's cancel her because she's not doing it. And then in those tweets, those harassment tweets, there's one where he literally says to her, just say BLM and we'll stop.
Yeah,
And
there's
then-
one there's another one who also asks her to say ACAB.
Yeah, yep. BLM and ACAB. I think it's the same guy. He says, just say BLM and ACAB and
There
we'll
was
stop.
even one that went to the extent of demanding that she give them money so they could put it towards anti-trans rhetoric education. I was trying to figure a word. Like, I need one evidently, but yeah, like this whole thing is just this constant attack. And the thing is, they go off this mentality that there's so many people in the world that are racist, that are homophobic, that are all these things, when it's like, do you really stop to think of how many people that really could be? And we all know that obviously most people you meet in your daily lives don't even think about this stuff, but for some reason, I hate using the term, but these people do. Like, this is all they think about day in, day out, all day long. And like you said, it's an endless barrage, Andy. Like, that's what they don't have a life. And what life they do have is surrounded by this idea that they're doing this noble thing by sitting behind a keyboard and attacking people like you and John. I even seen what, the whole thing that happened with them, recently as well, and we've all had our own, run-ins with this crap. When it comes to you say one thing one way and somebody takes it and twists it and turns it into a whole nother thing. And again, with Gina, it's just because, and only because, she appears to them to be on the more conservative side, and they want to whip her into submission, and she's not bending the knee. That's what it mainly has to do with.
Fact. Yep.
Yeah, power and control.
Well, so John, let's get to you because you it's all sort of started. I mean, it's not. This has been going on to Gina forever, and I've been out there defending her for a while. But let's talk about the article. So, why did this trigger so many people? Do you think? Because even Vito's in my chat, and Vito's asking the question, so let's ask it. So I'm covering all sides. Why? The question specifically just like why? So okay, I agree we shouldn't be bothering Gina, but why are we bothering her? Do you feel like you are bothering her? Do you feel like you are harassing her in a way? To anybody who has that sort of criticism, what would you say?
No. I like, as you said, it's just an article with basically me quoting her, and then showing that she is a host of the Star Wars High Republic show. So I'm not harassing her at all. I don't even tag her in the post on Twitter or anything. But no, the reason why people are triggered is because Jack Posobiec tweeted it out.
Right.
And he's a One American News Network host. That's the reason.
Right. So what happened is because you posted an article, and then Jack. Thank you for pointing that out, because that is true. Jack put this out there, and Jack. People have opinions on Jack. People, if you go look up his thing, they've defined him in multiple ways. Whether you think or not of Jack, Jack just posted your article. Jack didn't even write the article, and somehow you two got lumped together as, okay, well then you were both alt-right crazy people, conspiracy theorists, racists, etc. That then just sort of triggered everybody to sort of have to put on the woke signal to sort of we must defend her. But I'm still just confused. Like, I don't know. And Vito, I know Vito, because is in there sort of saying something. Sorry, I'm going to call you out because you're there. And you tweeted about it. Vito is like, well, she didn't call all white people racist. And going through the tweets, she sort of implied
she does.
So just to people who are saying that,
I covered that in the video. Like, and this is something I got into with another person on Twitter as well. When you say white people, if you put black, if you say black instead of white in there, and then read it out loud, it sounds racist. The problem is that they've got a narrative now that if you say white anything, it's not racist. And it's like, no, you're taking a person's race, and I don't care who she's attacking. She could be specific and say, these racist people need to stop. And it'd be like, yeah, okay, I agree with you. Let's get behind that. Racist people should stop being racist. But what she says is white people. She uses that words and those terminologies. And it's like, I'm white and I'm not American. I don't have anything to do with what's going on over there, but she's calling me. She's saying white people. She's calling out me and other people across the world. And now she's part of Lucasfilms. And it's like they have this narrative of inclusivity, except for if you're white. And that's the problem right now. is that which goes against what they actually did on their poster with
Right.
John Boyega. So it's like it's an irony that's being pointed out here. But to me, yes, I feel like she's being racist.
100%. I mean, it's right there. She says, "White people effing stop it."
Your
Well, she's-
racism, meaning
Yeah.
your white people, your
racism.
racism.
Won't save you. Yeah, you're racists. White people,
But
you're
she
racist.
doesn't acknowledge all the people that probably did say something to her that weren't white. I don't see anything about that anywhere. Do you? Because I know there was at least a couple people who said a few things to her that aren't white, that aren't male.
See, I like this one. White men, this is not the subject for you to try and speak authoritatively in my comments. I said what I said. Okay, you know what? Then help me to understand. I'm like, help. What is it? Help me to understand.
You explain it to me, or
you explain it to me. I mean, she doesn't even want to entertain that either.
Yeah, the irony of that is, as I was about to point out, she tweets later, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you, any white people, about racism. Like you don't even want to understand me." And it's like, okay, so you're lumping again all white people into not wanting to understand what happened to you, like whatever's made you so angry at white people, whatever it might be. You're not even willing to have the conversation. And so again, that's racist, because you're saying white people aren't even willing to understand me. They're not even willing to have a conversation with me to understand my point of view.
Oh, it's not. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to cut you off. It's not so much even it's being racist. It's just playing into the whole victim narrative. I mean, and that's a whole victim and grievance narrative. She just wants to be aggrieved. She's a professional victim. It seems like she's playing the professional victim card, and she just wants to be aggrieved. That's all it is. That's what it is to me, at least. And that grievance gives her power, because like, oh my God, I can't say anything because she's gonna call me a racist, and I better not say anything because that's to me what she's doing. She's playing that card.
Yeah, I mean, and just looking at it, because I want to, if anybody's got a tough question, you want to ask it, let's have the conversation, because I do think white people need to talk about racism. I think if we don't, it's going to get worse. How do we learn, or how do we not know if white people can't talk about it? Just because apparently she's telling me I've never experienced it doesn't mean we can't have conversations and learn from it. And look, I understand why she's upset. Black Lives Matter. I do believe in what happened. I don't like what happened over the summer. I don't like what's happened over history. Like, I get it. I can't put my myself in her shoes, or other people, other minorities. It's like I understand the problem. I do. I'm trying to work on my own issues, or if I have them. I think the conversation is though important. You got to have it with everybody. Everybody's got to be talking about it in a way, or it's just no. And the bigger problem to it all is just how quickly I see the term racist be thrown around these days, especially now. Like, if you disagree with anything, you're a Trump supporter, you're immediately pegged a racist. And I'm not a Trump supporter, but I've become more of a supporter of Trump supporters just because I see why they're upset. I can see why the other side is just pounding them down so often. And as someone who's been on the other side, it makes me really angry, because I'm like, we should be better than that. Like, 70 million people voted for the man. Like, we can't ignore it, you know?
But that's the whole thing. But I always point this out to Tom. This is the reason why in this country it's at least in theory, in principle, is secret ballot. So you cannot be harassed and badgered and bullied and ostracized by someone like Krystina Arielle for the way you vote. You cannot have that weaponized against you. Who did you vote for? None of your damn business who I voted for. It's a secret ballot.
Well, yeah, because it usually comes from the fact that I brought up, when I was in school, we were taught you keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you advertise it, you risk either offending somebody, upsetting somebody, or causing somebody else to try and influence you. There's all kinds of other reasons why, and people would be surprised what our backgrounds are on Midnight's Edge, but you know what? We don't get into politics or religion for that very reason. And I'm sure the same thing goes for John over at Bounding, because I know those guys too, and I know they all don't have the same backgrounds. They don't even stop to think of these things. I mean, I've even seen things like, Andy, our friend Jeff, he's been put in articles where they have literally called him racist. And that goes against their whole rhetoric.
Yeah,
Because
Ray Fisher called me a racist. That's why people wonder I'm upset at Ray Fisher. It's not that complicated. Go ahead.
Oh, Ray Fisher's a whole nother level of stupid. Don't even get me started on that.
Happy to come on your channel to talk about that anytime. But yeah, continue.
Just because I'm on Midnight's Edge, people have accused me of being a Trump supporter. I'm like, well, Bernie Sanders voted here, man. Come on.
Well, again, like I said, we usually don't get into it for that very reason. Is it's not what we're there for. We're there to report on news, internal politics, yes, but not the politics. And the last thing we want to do is interject our politics into stuff, because that's the whole problem we're having here is people's politics being shoved into our entertainment to begin with.
Well, that's a big issue as it is. But I just wanted to point out, people are talking about how is this any different to what's happened to Gina Carano. I can tell you what's different about it. One, this person has said racist things, whereas Gina Carano has not. And they're trying to cancel it over this. Now, whether someone wants to debate whether these are racist or not, that's something they can do. But I find it racist, and I'm not an American, so I have that right to find it racist. She's talking about my skin color. She's talking about my race. And it's white people can't comprehend a person of color being in an establishment where she's expecting to be victimized. And this is the problem with these types of people, is that they expect to be victimized. They go on and have a professional victim rant, and then people go, no, that's not everybody. And then they go and use the block button unless they cry racism. And you have Star Wars tweeting out, we stand with this person because she's being bullied. No, she's not being bullied. She's being questioned for her comments. That's what's happening here. Gina
Carano's being bullied.
Yeah,
absolutely. We stand with Krystina Arielle. We stand, but not Gina Carano. They should. That's what they should have put on that tweet. But not Gina Carano. And why? Because we've reported on this, there is a significant divide from what we've heard within Lucasfilm between the Kathleen Kennedy faction and the Jon Favreau faction. And this whole thing, and the Kathleen Kennedy don't they control the Twitter feed, I think, the Kathleen Kennedy faction.
Well, they were actually looking for somebody recently.
They were advertising for someone to run their social media. And a friend of ours, I don't know, can I say her name or can we not? No.
She did it live on the air. Anna,
well, okay, she did. Yeah, Anna, that Star Wars girl. She actually submitted her resume on the air.
A few other people, I guess, but
they submitted their resumes on a live stream with us. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, Vito just joined the chat. Another white guy here, guys. I'm sure we're gonna get criticized for that. Sorry.
Hey,
I usually have a very diverse panel, but tonight it is who it is. I don't judge it. I don't just put on people.
There's nothing wrong with a group of white guys.
I'm sure it's gonna be. First of all, but I have to thank Burning Star. Man, he just sent $100 to the Cash App. I got to pause to thank you. Shit, thank you, man. I'm here. Did you see Legend 1985 yet? No, but for that, I promise I will, and we'll talk about it on another stream. But I see you. Thank you for the support and the love. I saw some other super chats there. I'm going to get to them. But Vito, you're in the building. Vito had some thoughts about the article. So thank you for coming in and saying yourself. But look, I just want to have real conversations because I hate when we can't at least ask the tough questions to sort of understand. All right, well, what is there a problem we're not noticing? So Vito, go ahead. Ask what you're going to ask.
Well, I'm actually having trouble finding the quote that I just provided you. Was there an earlier version of this article? Has this article been edited at some point?
No.
So what was this quote that Star Wars, what do you think about Star Wars telling all white people that they're racist? Not her.
You're talking about another article, I think.
Okay, so there's another article on your site that says Star Wars says all white people are racist. Yes?
Yeah, that's the one with all the tweets.
Confirmed. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's talking about their
Star Wars and Lucasfilm officially support calling all white people racist.
Yep.
Okay. So, and real quick, I want to get the exact quote here. What do you make of Star Wars officially coming out and openly declaring they believe that all white people are racist?
Yep.
Now, your argument is going to be that saying, and here's their statement.
Yeah, the Star Wars community. What my argument is before. Yeah. Please tell me.
Okay, I won't tell you your argument. I'll tell you what their quote is. Our Star Wars community is one of hope and inclusivity. We do not stand for bullying and racism. We support Krystina Arielle. Now, I would assume, I mean, I don't think it's much of a stretch. You're going to say that anyone who supports her is, as you say, declaring they believe all white people are racist. Anyone who would say you support Krystina Arielle, that's the same as declaring that you believe all white people are racist. Is that what you're saying with that statement?
No, I'm saying with this statement is a direct response to our article. And if you don't think that, then you're like, I don't know what to tell you.
So it's possible to support her but not think all white people are racists?
The article is literally this tweet right here is literally in response to that article. I 100% believe that, and the article is her calling all white people racist. So if they're supporting her, they're supporting her calling all white people racist. And
I think that's a huge disingenuous leap of logic.
I completely 100% disagree with you, but
Star Wars sees one of their personalities again. You say Gina Carano, you want people
a person they hired literally a month ago. This month.
So they shouldn't defend her. They can't say that we don't stand for bullying and racism. That's the same as declaring they believe all white people are racists.
That's exactly what they did. They're supporting her. They're supporting what she says, right?
All right. Dude, they don't say we don't say we support what she said. They said we don't stand for bullying and racism. We support her. She is under attack for a lot of different things. Not necessarily your assumption.
What else is she under attack for?
She's under attack from people who are reading into things that she hasn't said. Because frankly, I read the things that she said. I don't think she said all white people are racists. I think she said, yeah, okay, some maybe annoying social justice type things about race. But to extrapolate that out to, well, I guess Star Wars hates white people, buddy. Your outlet has such an obvious ideological slant. Every article I read,
Vito. Thank you.
Is biased in the same exact.
You've made these same arguments on Twitter before.
Yeah,
there's nothing I've ever heard.
Look, I don't want to. And just so we're clear,
on Twitter, I'm not here to get in a fight with this guy.
Yeah, I don't. And if that's the case, Vito, you've said your point. I'm not here to try and sandbag.
Okay,
John
you have a disingenuous, terrible outlet on here. These guys are liars and crooks. Have fun.
But just so we're clear, Vito, he
Thank
did.
You.
He
Thank
did.
You for bringing this guy
He's
on
a liar. When did Star Wars say all white people are racist? You're a liar.
I'm trying to show you.
They didn't do though, Vito, is they never ever stood up for Gina Carano, who has been. And he just took the fuck off. So whatever.
But so Vito,
sorry for swearing, but that
no,
was
it's
bullshit.
fine. And John, I wasn't trying to sandbag you. He had a question. I know him. He's been on my stream a bunch. I wouldn't have.
I know him as well, and he actively attacks us every chance he gets.
Well, and just because, look, I like to hear other sides, but I apologize. I didn't mean to do that to just try and screw you over. I want to hear sides. I like it, but I want to make sure you're prepared and can say what we want. But just so we're clear, because I want to say, she did say it.
I think I held my own there.
Yeah, and she did say it. I'm trying to find the tweet again.
She says it multiple times.
Look, I can see why people, I can see both sides to this. But for Vito, for you to ignore that she's not saying right here that white people are racist, I don't know. I mean, I can see why some people would take that, especially given everything else.
Silence, the whole one of their things too is again, I bring up the whole point of Gina Carano. I'm not saying that necessarily Star Wars as a entity is saying, or Disney as a company, or Lucasfilm as a company is supporting said things, but this is their mentality, right? This is the whole point we started with. This is their mentality, is they look at it as if you support someone or a certain thought or a certain whatever, then you are automatically one of these things, right? So I get where Vito's coming from, but you got to understand that there's so much other evidence against the other side of this, to where were they when Gina Carano was being harassed endlessly for months and months and months? They weren't there. And you even had people coming out trying to start the same old arguments all over again in the Twitters and everywhere else about why Gina shouldn't deserve to be defended, which to me, I think is a bunch of horse pucky. And anyway,
right. And I don't want to ignore because I see there's people now trying to pivot this. I thought we were having a pretty good conversation, civil conversation. I like to be challenged, but I don't want to be yelled at. I don't
think it's really civil when a guy just comes on.
No, we were. I'm saying we were until that. That's what I was saying. I thought he was going to be civil.
Was his whole purpose of coming on this.
Yeah, and I think, look, Vito, one could say that about any outlet that they have a slant. It's it is what it is.
I'm not arguing that we don't have a slant. We're human beings. Human beings have opinions.
Yeah, but to say John doesn't believe what he's writing is what I feel like he's accusing you of. I think that's taking it too far. And to be fair, I don't follow. I don't dig deep, and I'm not here to. I don't want to defend in the sake of what I've seen. You have legitimate articles on there that I've read and seen. I've seen Screen Rant. Every main article in the world attempts to sometimes do clickbait. So does Vito. So do I. We all sort of go that way at some point. So I can't just completely condemn you. I think there's clearly people who you've upset, and that's going to come with it. But back to where we were going, because I want to keep that conversation. I want to try and keep it rational.
No, and I apologize too, because I was actually going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt before he just totally punked out like that. I was just like, okay. I was going to explain to him the position,
but I'm glad you did, because to me, Vito and everybody else who's sort of trying to now knock John, that's not even besides the point. Have your opinions. I guess you're right. You're allowed to have your opinions, but the fact of the matter, there is an absolute disingenuousness to this tweet here that I want to put back on the screen, because they don't defend bullying. They don't stop there's so many other cases of bullying and racism in Star Wars. John Boyega. I mean, there's so much out there that they are absolute hypocrites, and that's really what I want to focus on. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I just want to explain this a little bit more. So, like, the article, it literally has multiple tweets in her calling white people racist. And then Star Wars comes out and says, our Star Wars community is one of hope and inclusivity. We do not stand for bullying and racism. We support Krystina Arielle. They're supporting her calling white people racist. Like, that's what they're saying. I don't know how you can't. I don't know how you can't see that.
They're supporting her because they know that if they shit can her, pardon my language, she will be the first one to turn on them. That's what it ultimately comes down to. And Star Wars cannot afford more bad publicity right now. Especially Star Wars and Lucasfilm and Disney can't afford that right now. She will turn on them like a rabid dog. I just
don't want to be seen firing a person of color. That's really what it's about. What I can say is, when they say we support Krystina Arielle, what I read from that is they support her against what they see, what she's reported to them as bullying, and she's probably taken the worst of what she's got. And there are scumbags on the internet that would have said racist things to her. She would have taken those things and taken them to Lucasfilms and said, "Look what's happening to me on Twitter." So they've made this post ignorant. That's what I think has happened. And so then what's going on? And this is the thing too. What I was going to say to Vito before he left, they fired James Gunn for less. I
don't know about that.
He made 10. But I'm saying like 10 years ago, tweets. he made
a better example jokes. Might be Roseanne.
And they fired him because people drugged up those pedophile jokes. 10 years ago.
There's a lot more than just tweet jokes on that.
Yeah, but the whole cancel thing happened because of him, and I'm not an advocate for cancel culture on either side of it. Like, I don't think Krystina should be canceled. What I think is that people are pointing out her hypocrisy, and people are angry mainly because she said these things about white people. Whether people take that as all or not is irrelevant. She said things that can be construed as controversial and racist. They can be construed as that, and then on the flip side, you have them not saying one word about Gina Carano over the last year and a half that she has been given crap after crap, making hundreds of bot accounts to harass her, not one thing. And that's the hypocrisy that many people like Andy are calling out here, is that they're supporting this person with controversial ideas and saying, well, not controversial in today's Twitter world, but like an idea of these people are racist. Don't talk to me because you're racist. These are the things that she's actually said. You can't talk to me because you're white, you're racist. And so then we have the flip side of they haven't supported Gina Carano. They've said nothing about John Boyega and what he had to say about them. They said nothing like Poe Dameron not being on the poster either for China.
I think they did with Boyega after the BLM stuff. There was like some tweets with him, and then he said he had a conversation with them too, I believe, in like June, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's been a while.
Vito, I don't want to cancel James Gunn. I've got no beef.
Paul, come on, let's keep it on tap. So I want to, because this is about Gina to me, and Gina to me is the one who is being bullied, because as I have the receipts, we have the stuff. She's not transphobic. She's not supported the insurrection. All the things that they try to attack her with is why I'm very frustrated about this, because if we're talking about somebody is being bullied, it's her. And we're not even talking about her being canceled. So many people are just getting triggered in the chat based off of their own opinions. But the reality is, again, the conversation is around this tweet, guys. We do not stand for bullying. How can you deny that Gina isn't bullied by this community, this Star Wars community that is hope and inclusivity? They hate her because they think she's a Trump supporter, even though she has never endorsed Trump. I mean, I don't understand Vito, Lunga, all you guys in the chat. Like, how can you deny that? How can you deny the fact that their community absolutely does not support inclusivity because she is of the other side of the coin? And that's what the issue is about. That's what this whole stream has been about. And it's, we've talked about Krystina and the other things. Like, I don't have a problem with what Krystina did, just so we're clear. And I understand some people are upset, clearly, that sort of people are upset by her. But people are. So what are we going to do? We're going to tell them you're wrong. Don't be upset. Get the hell out of here. We'll push them out of society. We're just going to be divided. I don't get why we aren't on the same page of like there's hypocrisy in this tweet. I mean, does anyone on this chat disagree with me? Thoughts?
I don't. I do want to clarify something. We all have different feelings about James Gunn, but I know one thing. Nobody here on the panel really agrees with canceling anybody. I know that much. I can speak to that. Because what does it really serve unless you're really like did something that's criminal and then you go to jail? So obviously you lose your job. So I don't know what Vito's freaking out about in the chat.
I mean, he's calling me a liar and just
Anyway,
I don't even know why Paul brought in James Gunn. It was a completely. It has nothing to do with the conversation.
A better example because she's actually fired.
Correct.
And still fired.
Well, James Gunn was fired. And then they rehired him, so things.
That's
so things got better.
I brought him in because he was fired for less. That's why. She's got controversial tweets that a lot of people are upset about. He had controversial tweets that a lot of people were upset about from 10 years ago. He was fired. She's still
he made
around
like
and
pedo
they're
jokes,
supporting her.
Paul. Like his tweets were stupid for working
And it
for
wasn't
Disney.
just
Oh, they were
tweets.
stupid. They were dumb.
Yeah, blog posts.
So, let's not compare about who's worse or who's not. I want to focus on the point. I don't want to do the what about thing. I want to focus on the issues at hand, which is the fact that I think that's what I'm. Again, chat, Vito, everybody else, keeping it on Gina. There is absolute hypocrisy in this tweet based off what happened there. And whatever the thoughts on Krystina, there are thoughts. So it is. We have to entertain them. That's what we're having this conversation are, and that's the reality. But what I wanted to also talk about was, sorry, I had another thing here. There's something else. What was it? James Taylor. What's the voiceover actor? Didn't something happen with him as well?
James Taylor.
The guy
the guy that
voice actor,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
the guy that voices Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He got on Parler and they canceled him.
Like
exactly. He was on Parler, and because he went to the conservative side, he got canceled. That to me,
and he said he wasn't even him. It was like a
someone made a dummy account of
you.
him, and he got canceled for it. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that to me is where
I do think there's I think there's the issue here that we're having. I think in the chat is there's a difference between getting canceled and a just firing. I do think there is a difference. I think the Gina stuff is totally disingenuous. She hasn't done anything where this person has obviously called white people racist and has done something. And I think that is, if they do fire her, that's not canceling her. That would be a just firing. That's different from by firing Gina for something that she hasn't even done that people are just attacking her for. So I do think there's a difference. I don't think Vito can understand that. I think there's a lot of people in the chat that don't understand that, but I do think there's a difference. And I want to point out that there is a difference.
Well, I think the reason we were brought here and what happened to Andy is the same thing that happened to Gina is just because you didn't follow along with the group think, all of a sudden it's okay to be attacked. Like, and you have no right to defend yourself in any way, shape, or form, especially if you're a white male. Like, that's the big thing too, is, and we've seen that in Krystina's tweets where she's like, if you're a white male, you're the last person who should be talking, basically, like the one that Rob pointed out earlier.
Right.
And that to us, it really shows that you really aren't trying to be equal. You're just trying to separate and divide even more. And again, like, you know, a lot of us have asked, well, in what ways are you feeling this? Or, you know, anytime anybody tries to ask these kind of questions, you know, we just get shut down. So the conversation is ended before it even starts. And I don't remember any one of us here on the panel once ever saying anything about Krystina being fired, to be honest with you. So no. I'm not even sure where that started. So
that
to me,
started from Vito
like
making a huge assumption and then calling me a liar.
Well, because I do want to, can I, because this I was just looking around because like this is a jump. I mean, they just so we're clear. Like I don't really love this one, John, just so because I want to make sure I'm clear. Like this, Star Wars didn't officially call them all racist. I get by implication, you're saying they did, but just for people who understand why there's debate in the chat, it's just
You can disagree with that headline all you want.
That's where the disagreement is happening, and I can see where they're coming from, John. At the same time, that's how you believe, that's what you feel, that's what you did. Yeah. But for anybody sort of confusing why Vito was upset and why things happened, this was because I wasn't even following where this was going. But this is a separate article which wasn't even trafficked as much as what got shared by the what's his name, Jack, on Twitter. But that's where all this blew up.
This guy's just, I just find it hilarious. He's calling me a liar, and then in the chat, he's now saying, "You're accusing the entire Star Wars organization of hating white people." That's literally not what the headline says. So it says right there, officially support calling all white people racist. So even then. I think he just needs some reading comprehension lessons.
Yeah, but I like to be fair. I'm not trying to I don't see where they're trying to fire her. They're calling it out. I don't think they're trying to cancel it. I think they're trying to rally up their audience, Vito. You may not agree with their audience, but I don't see where they're trying to fire her. They're just trying to make a point, and I think there's hypocrisy in what they're doing. And again, my biggest reason for having all this is this tweet, which is just like, all right, so we're going to stand for that, but I don't think there wasn't a whole hashtag fire Krystina Arielle is what the reality is. There was for Gina.
Yeah. I also think that Vito can't tell the difference between my personal opinions and what I'm writing in an article as someone writing. So I have my own personal opinions, and then I can also separate from what I'm writing in an article. And I don't think he can understand the difference between them.
Yeah, that's a whole separate conversation. Like, do you consider your site to be opinionated journalism?
Yes. Yeah, we have opinions.
100%. Right, so you're more of opinionated journalist is what the site you'd say is. It's news with opinion, just like I would do. I'm not a journalist. I'm not breaking news here. I'm obviously every piece I do has my opinion all over it.
Pretty sure every news outlet has opinion.
I feel like that headline, I've been thinking about the headline, thinking like, how does this make sense? And from my perspective, when I'm reading it, I'm thinking, okay, so what happened was she made these tweets that can be construed as racist. People called her out on those racist tweets. She then went to Lucasfilm saying, they've called me out on these racist tweets. She probably got racist tweets in the mix of it, and probably
she did. She published forward. A couple of them.
Yeah, she put them forward, and then they've gone, we support you. But it's like what the article is saying. The headline is that they are supporting her, but she's been called out for what she said. So they're supporting her in what she said.
Exactly.
Like completely. That's what the title of it says to me. After thinking about it, that's what it actually means. It's not saying because what she said is racist to some people. Some people find it racist. And so it doesn't matter, like people go, the context, she can say about her, like her personal views, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, yeah, okay, I've had personal views with racism. I've had people that are not white be racist towards me. I've been beaten up in the street by non-white people. Like, should I be able to go on Twitter and make rants about black people because I've had a anecdotal evidence of my personal issues with them? Does that make them all that way? Because this is what's happening here. She's going, white people can't talk to me about racism. And that's why it encompasses all. People keep saying, she didn't say all. She didn't say the words all. Yeah, what she could have said, racists, don't come at me. She could have contextualized it a lot better. She said she chose white men, white people, white women. That's what she chose. She chose those words.
Well, so because the question that Vito's asking is a fair one because I have an answer on it. But John, do you want her to be fired?
Personally, yeah, I think they would be just in firing her.
I mean, I don't agree with you there. Why do you say that?
She's a racist, and she's representing the Star Wars brand.
She's racist because she's upset about her own racism. I mean, do you not agree that this summer charged enough people to sort of have us open our eyes to realize, all right, we got to address some things.
Starts in March, ends in October.
So these weren't even during that movement you're saying, but still, I mean,
this is in March. The first one here is in March.
That's interesting. It wasn't even in reaction to that. It was in March.
Yep.
So I mean, look, it's like I'm not trying to fight with you. I don't agree with you on this, and that's our right
fine.
To have this disagreement. But I mean, that is canceling her.
Disagrees, obviously.
That is canceling her.
It's firing her.
I mean, but it's like Gina hasn't been fired yet, just so we're clear on. And the reality of just that Gina could be fired still because people are trying to with massive hashtags. We don't know what's actually happening with her. There's been rumors that Jon Favreau has her back, and that's what's happening. I don't know the facts. Midnight's Edge, John, do you guys have you heard any rumors or insights? Do you feel like Gina's job is in jeopardy?
There's been some rumblings, but the problem with that is it could very well just be people in the Kathleen Kennedy faction trying to drum up rumors to try and make it look like people want her fired, because the thing I noticed was this didn't even really start trending, the whole original deal, until it started trending with Gina Carano's name, and that was people sticking up for Gina Carano, because it started with things like you know, posting, Andy, the whole thing about like, you know, where's the support for Gina? And that's where I saw it trending, and I even took a screenshot of it because it was Gina Carano trending with, and then all the other stuff. And I just was like, okay, that's interesting. But like, as far as like the whole thing, do I like personally, and I can't speak for the channel because obviously we, you know, we're an entity, we're a group of people, we don't have a personal opinion as far as the channel. But me personally, no, I don't think she should necessarily be fired. And I wouldn't even go as far as call her a racist per se. I do think she's very uninformed. I think she's lived a very sheltered life.
She is married to a white man.
And yeah, well, there you go. It's like for somebody to be like that blatant like that, I feel like either she's just going with the flow of, I that's my point, is if I met her face to face, I have a hard time believing she would just go, F you, white man, and spit on me and walk away. Right.
I agree with that. Yes. I don't get that vibe even from these tweets.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, I think that most people forget that most of us are like that. And unfortunately, a certain part of the population seems to think that almost every white person, if not all white people, are that way, especially white men. And as you can see here, there's a lot of varied opinions just on this panel right now, as I'm sure even Rob's opinion may be close to mine, but it's still probably a little different. And I know John's is varied from mine. I mean, he thinks she should be, and I don't think he's unjustified in feeling that way. I mean, he's a boss. If he had this kind of a situation to deal with, that would be his call. Me personally, that's not the way I would play this situation. And no, to this point, I don't foresee Gina getting fired, and I see it as just a bunch of hubbub brought out by people who don't agree with what they perceive as her politics.
See, now she could have said right here in this tweet, Scott. But no, she has to paint all, she's singles, it says white conservatives. You know, hey, you know, you're addressing, why don't you just say, hey, Scott, hey, you know, it's just knock it off.
Yeah,
this is why that argument about all, it's not, she's not saying all, it's bullshit. White conservatives, she's pulling out a certain segment of the population and saying that about them. Yeah, that's what she's doing. White conservatives,
she's making a lot of generalizations.
Yeah, and look, and guys, I know a lot of people are like triggered, and I'm trying to be respectful because I don't agree with everything that I'm hearing in this chat or what I'm reading here. But it's like, if we don't hear other people's opinions and learn why calmly and civilly, we're never going to solve anything if we just keep yelling at each other. But I can see here why this comment, this tweet would trigger people, because she is generalizing people. Sorry, it was the one up here. She is generalizing people. She's doing what everybody does to Trump supporters, saying they're all racist. And I think we have to be better as a society than just generalizing that. Look, I don't like Trump. I don't like a lot of what he did. I don't like the people that did the insurrection. Like, I've made my opinions clear. It is, you know, those are my thoughts. But I know a lot of Trump supporters who aren't that way, who don't like what Trump did, who have started to lose, you know, like we can't lump all groups into one label, or we are the bullies, right? That's the reality of what's going on here. So, go ahead.
The irony of this is I'll use their own language against. Okay, I'm not on the fire wagon because to me that sounds like canceling to me.
Yeah, I'm not. Just I'm going to come there next, but I just wanted to sort of breathe it. But go ahead, quick, Paul. I want to get some thoughts from this, and if you guys, we're happy to wrap up this first part of the conversation. I did promise to open up to phone calls, and I know some of you may need to bail. You're welcome to, but finish up your thoughts, Paul. And we'll go around one sort of last round here, and then I may open up the phone.
I'm just going to use the same language that she would use. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
Because they say that stuff all the time to conservatives, and now she's calling out the white conservatives, the white women, the white this, the white that. Yes, she's using a holistic language. She's not literally saying all white conservatives, but she's using holistic language saying white conservatives. And she bolded it. White. The word white is bolded. So Don't give me this. Oh,
So the
she's
reason
not
why
doing
that wasn't her bolding.
Oh,
that.
did you? Oh, it's because you
That's,
searched.
That's just the way it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
she
Twitter-
did. You
yeah.
can't do
Right, okay.
bold on Twitter. So I want to go around and just so we're clear, like I don't believe, obviously given my history, especially, I don't believe in canceling or firing people just based off of tweets I disagree with. I don't think she's being racist. I think she's angry. I think she's got her own opinion, and I wouldn't fire her. But I understand why you're upset, John, and I get it.
I'm not upset.
Well, I mean, but you said you would fire her. I mean, what? Sorry if upset's the wrong word. You don't feel like she should be in that position because I guess you correct me if I'm incorrect. You don't feel like she should be in this position because she's not just being fair to everybody.
Can you repeat that?
So why you're saying she should be fired because you believe she's racist and therefore wouldn't be respectful to white employees?
No, I think that she would be fired because it sends a message that Star Wars has a problem with white people. That's what I think it says.
But
if I mean, like, I think Paul has made this point already. If you switch it to the words to black or any other race, would you expect them to be fired?
No, I don't. I think we should try to be better to not fire anybody based off the wrong words. Is my point.
Would you expect them to be fired?
Yeah.
Would I expect? You mean if someone said that? If black women are complicit, or that all black men, black conservatives stop invoking racism? No, I don't think it's I think it's the same effect to me personally. I understand what you're trying, what straw man you're trying to pull there. Of yes, but I personally, well, no, but it's like, there's sometimes that racism is used. I see there, like this whole Krystina topic, I feel like is just sort of, that's why they're tweeting about her, right? Because they want to be safe and, they have to protect her in a way. I do believe that's a reality. But should they fire her or anybody else? No.
What do you mean protect her? I'm confused.
Well, no, but I feel like I think that's what there's critics of this will say that they didn't support Gina because she's a Trump supporter, but because of Black Lives Matter and because Krystina is black, that's why they would do that. You don't think there's critics out there saying that that's why this is happening?
Oh, I think didn't we kind of say that? I think that's exactly
so the point is, the argument of yes, if someone said that about black people, they'd be fired. I see what you're saying, but personally, no, I don't think they should. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Right, but my question was, expect.
I didn't hear you. It's what?
My question was, would you expect them?
I don't expect. It's impossible to expect anything from Disney because I expected them to fire Gina Carano and they haven't.
No, like anybody, any company. Imagine a white person tweeting that out, but saying it about black people, like saying black people do this, and it's a derogatory statement. That person would be canceled?
They fired the woman from in the dog park in New York.
So this is why she's not saying all people argument is bullshit, because if someone said black people, every black person would assume they're saying all black people. This is the problem with their narrative.
Well, I think look, I don't like what they're doing here because it's hypocrisy to me is what it is. Like the when it gets into the race stuff, it obviously is more complicated. But for me, again, but they stand for bullying and racism. But John Boyega has admitted that Disney is in fact racist, so they don't is more of the hypocrisy. But from the bullying angles, what I want that's what this is all about for me and what I want to focus on. But would they have? I guess maybe. To be honest, I see what you guys are saying, but I hope we get to a point where we don't fire anybody.
We've got another story up where they actually did do Disney did do an investigation where one of their executives had posted on, I think it was on Twitter, where they were going to they were only looking for a certain type of race, and they actually investigated that, but that was before the world we live in today. So
and I want to, just before I'm going to open up the lines if you guys need to bail, but I want to thank some of these commenters. Jonathan, they fired the guy from The Flash and James Gunn. Well, it's different because Flash was Warner Brothers. This wasn't Disney. We've talked about James Gunn. It's a little different, but thank you for Ralph Dibny. What's his name? Hartley Sawyer, which I also thought that was ridiculous. He gave like a very heartfelt apology. It felt like that was a rush to condemn that guy. I didn't love some of the stuff he said, but it was clear they were just stupid jokes that he felt that he did a while back that he clearly wanted to atone for and has apologized for, but they didn't care. Sorry, there was a couple I was want to make sure I didn't forget you guys' support. Myra, thank you. I'm sorry I'm late to you. Sorry you're being bullied from the. Yeah, thank you earlier. Sorry, they want to castrate me. Apparently that's the thing. Mr. Tickle Trunk, people use words you'd agree with to justify behavior you wouldn't. Social media is horrible for your mental health. Facts. Enables damaged, hateful people to twist compassion into weapons. Dialogue and understanding are the real way. Well said. That's why we're here having this conversation. David March, thank you, David March, $25. I've been trying to get Popcorn Planet and Midnight's Edge together for months now. Glad to see it happen. I am too. Thank you, David. And Game World Intel, here's a few bucks to help you protect your cack. Andy, thank you for using the A instead of the U. Or the O, rather. All my have anyone seen the movie Cuck on here? My commenters always want me to watch it. It's a crazy movie. All right. Well. Thoughts on this topic as I sort of open up the phone lines, and if anybody needs to go, I'll wrap around and then let me know. But John, any thoughts you want to add on this topic or anything else before I move on to let some other people call in?
No, I don't have anything else to add.
And then you want to plug too while we're here at this point, this portion, because I may trim here for my longer take, where people can find you.
Yeah, sure. We're on YouTube, Bounty in the Comics, and then obviously our website, bountyinthecomics.com. We're on Twitter, Minds, MeWe, and Facebook.
Awesome. And then Midnight's Edge. Tom, what's up? Anything you want to add to this final thought before I move on to take calls?
No, it's gotten so far out of hand now. I mean, I just hope people see this as an opportunity that we all want to open up dialogues, and prejudging a lot of people is what got us to this point anyway. Otherwise, you can always find Rob and I on Midnight's Edge, and I'll stick around for a little bit. I don't know about Rob, but
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Rob, anything you want to add? I appreciate you both coming on.
Not really. No, if I add anything, I'll get canceled.
It's weird. It's just like this conversation shouldn't trigger everybody, and you don't have to agree with John or any of these guests. But look, I got to always be respectful of my guests when they're on here. And I told John I didn't like some of the stuff I saw, but that's where we got to be. If we can't say it civilly to each other, we are awful as a society. But look, you don't have to agree. As John even said, you don't have to support or agree. That's his prerogative and your prerogative. The beauty of a free country, right? I'm going to open up the phone line. If anybody does need to dip out, go ahead and just do it. And Paul, obviously, go check out Halogen Helix, his new channel. You can support him there, but I know you'll be here as well. But I'm going to open up the phone lines. As long as people are civil and we're not sandbagging or yelling at and being awfully crazy, I will hear people out. I always like to try and do this at some point. And you can keep sending over your comments if I don't get to you on the Zoom and support via Streamlabs and Cash App. Thank you guys who have. But here, I've put it in publicly. If anybody has a question or wants to ask, send it over my way. I will lynch you. I have one person already. You've been waiting. Mark. I don't know who this is. Mark. Let's see as Mark sets that up. There was something else on the Star Wars topic I was going to bring up. I'm trying to find it. But hold on, let's get to Mark first. Mark, turn on your audio and your video. And we will ask you, anybody else who wants to come in and have a conversation or challenge me or anybody, if they're willing to hear it, I'm open to hearing. I always want to learn better if I'm missing something. Excuse me. Where was it? Mark, are you on there? Or did I lose you? All right, Mark's still setting this up. Let's get in. Bullet Scarer. He won't shoot me. Although that person who was trying to castrate me was really showing off her guns right after that comment, which was a little scary. Speaking of Bullet Scarer. Bullet, are you in there? Bullet and or Mark. Mark, are you back? Gotta love Zoom, how long it takes for them to hook it up. Sorry.
Mark, I wonder if it's my brother. He'll never be able to figure it out.
I don't know.
Mark, you there? I hear you. Mark?
Oh, hey, can you hear me? Hold on. I got my thing.
I got both of you now? Who's talking? Tell me who's talking.
That was me, I think.
Bullet.
How
Okay,
you doing? Can you hear me?
I got you both. All right, awesome. Now it's sorry. Thank you for bearing with me, everybody. All right, let's start with you. You were in there first, Mark. So, Bullet, just mute yourself for a second. Mark, what's up? You had a question to ask?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to, chime in here. I don't know. It was mentioned earlier. This was one of the things. I actually hit you up on Twitter saying I wanted to come in if you open the lines up. But, her husband is white with Krystina Arielle. And I think that adds a layer to the whole thing that really gets glossed over. And I've been following Krystina Arielle for almost 4 years. on Twitter through her cosplay. The more I learned about her, the less I actually like her. Over the past few years, so I'm not actually a fan of her. I just don't unfollow people for dumb reasons. But when her husband is white, and I think that, like I said, it just adds a layer to a lot of her tweets and the things she said about the overgeneralization she has for white people that I've noticed.
Does that make her less racist to you because she has a white husband? Is that what you're implying?
No, and not at all, actually. So I'm mixed. I can't get my camera to work. I'm mixed. I'm half Puerto Rican, and then the rest of me
Puerto
is
Rico.
Broken up.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the rest of me is broken up evenly between Black American, Native American, Colombian, and Panamanian. Okay, but I have Black relatives who do not like white people all that much. They talk bad about white people a lot. I remember, especially with me growing up. And they've almost exclusively only ever dated white people, though. So I don't think that necessarily makes her less racist or less prejudiced. Maybe her husband's the exception to her feelings. I honestly don't know. But I just think it's really interesting. You have kids with a white guy, and you're constantly spouting on and on about how racist white people are. I mean, these tweets, they're not new. She is a very, and I'm not even trying to dogpile her, to be honest. She's a very stereotypical, if you consider like the woke ideology, she's very stereotypical. She fits right into that box. And I wouldn't be surprised if the fact that she is a geek and a nerd and she's into Star Wars and comic books, that helped her with her getting hired by Lucasfilm for this show that she's hosting. But if I had to bet, I would bet my entire life savings that a major portion of her getting hired is because she has the right politics and she has the right skin color. I think that plays a huge role in why she has a job doing what she's doing. And that's kind of, I think, what happens. Like if you were a right-leaning person, and I'm kind of all over the map, I don't fit into either left or right-wing box. But if you were a right-leaning person saying the things that she was saying, you would be hard-pressed to get a job doing what she's doing for a company like Lucasfilm or for Marvel or for DC. You wouldn't get a job doing that. You would have to effectively hide your political points of views, but that's because largely our cultural institutions are dominated by the political left in this country. And that's a part of why you can come out and openly say these things that are racist and are prejudicial and are bigoted. But because they're against the right people, you get a pass for it.
Well, I just want to get you, because I want to. I hear you, and I want to let you get your thought out. I mean, the only thing I will respond is, like, they haven't fired Gina yet. So while I'm annoyed and stressed by sort of the bullying in the community that they've done, to Disney's credit so far, until they do it, they are protecting both sides. They're not doing it as vocally as they should. But I can't. There isn't an example to me of someone that Star Wars, at least. I mean, sure. I mean, I guess Roseanne is Disney. So there are examples of other people they've removed beyond Star Wars at Disney for being safe. But politically, I haven't seen them do it yet. If they fire Gina, that'll be all hell breaks loose. I think that'll be the reality. But just quickly, Mark, go ahead.
I'll be quick. I'll be quick. Did Gina's political positions, which she hasn't come right out and said anything, but I think it's pretty safe to say she leans a little bit to the right on certain things.
She doesn't. She doesn't say her politics. I mean,
I know that, but if you were to judge by her tweets that she likes and stuff like that, that's what some people have tried to use to justify going after her, right? None of that. I don't think any of that stuff was known prior to her getting the job with The Mandalorian. All that stuff came out after.
Who knows what people know? I mean, it's none of anyone's business, honestly. But I mean, more people discovered it.
They're just making a lot of assumptions, is what it is.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get at. But none of that stuff was really kind of, I guess, uncovered or looked at until after she got this high-profile job in The Mandalorian.
I mean, Mark, I appreciate it. I mean, yes, I think that's obvious that that's part of the problem right now. That's what we're talking about. Are they going to remove her because seems to be conservative and supports Trump? That's the big question. Thankfully, so far, they haven't, and I hope she stays there. But I appreciate your thoughts, man. Thank you for calling in.
No, thanks. I appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, and so, Bullet, are you there?
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead quickly. It's like a radio. It turns into a radio show now, and we'll get some more thoughts. But quickly, yeah, go ahead.
All right. I don't think Krystina needs to be fired. I mean, I just think that she just put out a tweet trying to like defend herself. I think.
You're talking about Krystina.
Yeah, I don't think she needs to be fired. I mean,
I agree.
I think it just stuff happens in the moment. I think.
Sometimes we get hot. Sometimes I think Twitter makes the worst of us happen.
Yeah,
that's why I think no one should be judged by Twitter.
Yeah, another thing that kind of was brought up is like, why do politics matter when a person gets hired with a studio or something? Like shouldn't what matter be qualifications for it? Like not politics.
Amen. The politics and religion are separated for a reason and shouldn't be up. I mean, I think that's an HR thing. Like, you're not allowed to be fired for your politics or religion. Now, if you're caught supporting, if you're caught supporting certain things or dangerous things, right, John? Like that, then obviously your beliefs are dangerous, and that's where the line becomes for sure.
Politics aren't a protected class in the United States.
So it should be, but it's hard. The beliefs is where they get you, right? Well, you did this, you went to this, and we saw that you did this, and we can't support you. That's
just the vibe that I'm getting from it. Is like it depends on politics, and I don't think it should. I'm not saying that's exactly how it is, but that's kind of how it seems like to me.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, man. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, thanks for
appreciate
letting me
you.
on. Have a good night.
Donald, you're in as well. What's up, dude?
Hi, everybody.
How are you? Welcome to the show. It's late night here on Popcorn Planet FM. Got a question to ask or a comment?
Yeah, more of a clarification of where everybody is. I know everybody on this panel has a different opinion on what should be done with Krystina Arielle. She should be fired. She should be canceled. I don't know. I personally, for me, because I work for John. Hi, boss. We all have different opinions. We all have different views about what should be happening with Star Wars, Lucasfilm. But ultimately, we do understand that Lucasfilm's feet need to be held to the fire for this. Because they can't do one for one person and not be expected to do the same for, Gina Carano or John Boyega. They should be even-handed with their support across the board, or even-handed with their punishments across the board. And we see this problem with Hollywood.
Well, well, if I could for a moment.
Yeah, go Rob, please.
For me, it's not just Krystina Arielle. It's Krystina Arielle. It's Justina Ireland. It's Rian Johnson. I mean, up and down. There's a whole there's a whole history of this within Lucasfilm in the last few years. It's really gotten it's. I'm like, what are you guys doing over there?
Facts. Good question. It's hard to, and then there's no plan creatively. Except for Favreau and Filoni, which have saved the day for most fans.
Pablo Hidalgo, Chuck Wendig, the whole
Chuck Wendig. Oh my! Remember, they actually fired him for his tweets. He said that, and his tweets were about literally about stomping Republicans with his boot.
Where's Bob Iger in all this to say, hey, get a hold of get control of your people?
Bob said in his book that he doesn't try to get involved with.
Well, this is a situation he needs to get involved.
The only one he brought up in his book was the James Gunn and the Roseanne one. And the Roseanne one, he said that him and Roseanne had a history, which they do because he was part of the Roseanne show before. And due to prior things, she had supposedly promised him that she would never say anything out of line again, or it would be the end of her career with him. That's the point.
Bob!
Yeah, and then as far as James Gunn, that didn't happen on his accord. So like him and that was all Alan Horn. So he wasn't consulted on that, and neither was Kevin Feige. Either was our understanding on that part. But no, like I don't agree with cancel culture. as far as firing goes, there's a line. You can only do so much. You can't call the other person on the other side of the counter a name if you work in a restaurant or a store without expecting getting fired. I think there is a point to be made that this is in a way similar to that, as far as like what Krystina did. Now, as far as like, I do also agree with like the level of what is the punishment, and a lot of people are keep asking what's the difference between cancel culture and firing. Well, firing is just losing your job. Krystina can still go flip burgers. Nobody's stopping her from doing that, or writing a book, or doing whatever the hell she wants somewhere else. Like, again, I'm not condoning anybody firing her. I'm just pointing that out. Cancel culture is a different thing. Cancel culture is what Andy saw happening here, what Gina has saw happen here. And that's where these people come after you, and they literally threaten your life. They will continue to bombard you. They will continue to harass anybody who does hire you. And they make it difficult to do anything in your life, and up to including going shopping, even putting your kids in school if you have a family. I mean, and that's what these people do. They go to the extent where they will harass and stalk and do these things. And you can say I'm being hyperbolic, but I'm not. There's actual accounts of this stuff. So again, this is where the level of the line needs to be drawn, I guess, is my point on that. But it's this community of people that feel like they are in the right side of history or whatever, to where it's okay for them to do exactly what they're accusing other people of doing, is the biggest problem of all.
Well said. Thank you for the call as well. Sorry, what was your name? Where did I have you? Donald, appreciate you calling in. Thanks for calling, man.
No problem, man.
Saggy Melons, are you there?
All right, thanks.
I think so.
Saggy Melons, you just diversified my panel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm getting slayed in the comments because my typical diverse panel isn't available today, and this is who it is. And how ridiculous do you get yelled at for people just can't talk about it.
Diversity isn't just skin color.
Makes me frustrated. But anyway, thanks you for diversifying, Saggy Melons. We have a female here.
Hey! People tell me I don't see color. People tell me I'm white. I take their word for it.
Yeah,
okay?
They see a bunch of icons. Who knows what these people are? Anyway, Saggy Melons, what's up?
I don't see color either.
You guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I'm not used to Zoom. So, I talked about this earlier, but there's a lot to really dive into, and I was trying to talk a little bit, and people were hating on me for it, fine, but the thing is, like, this whole thing, I get what you guys are saying with the whole generalization, right? I'm a black woman, I can see it, I'm not blind. However, when I saw the screenshots and we were talking about it, I noticed that these tweets that were basically the focal point of this discussion were posted around the time when the Black Lives Matter movement was very heavy and prominent, and it makes sense that especially black people who are public figures were tweeting about this. And yes, I get the whole thing. It looks like it's generalization. Do I think it's racist that she's racist against white people? No, because when she's talking about white men, white women, granted, the wording could be 100% better. I'm with you guys on that. But what she's basically saying, and what most of these black people say when they are posting things like this, is the racist white people, the white people who are trying to tone police black people to not speak about black issues. And when they say, well, you guys couldn't speak on black issue, you guys can't speak about black stuff, whatever. It's not like you guys can't talk about it. You are free to talk about it. It's more so like, you're white, you're trying to talk about other cultures' issues that they're having, and we don't want you to speak for us. I have personally had people on both sides, black and white, try to tell me what I'm supposed to feel about racism. And it sucks. Because it's not just the black people or white. It's both of them. Both of them will try to say, white people try to speak for black people. Oh, hey, like, yeah, you should be mad. You're black. Why aren't you out there protesting with people? I've gotten that a lot too. So I don't think, as far as that, to call her racist, I don't think she or Gina should be fired. I don't think Gina liking a tweet that might come off insensitive might not have been the smartest move as a public figure. But does she need to be attacked for it? No. Do I feel like you guys are in the right that Lucas Art should also speak up for her? Yes, I think that there is a double standard there as well. But I don't feel like calling someone a racist by saying white people, or even calling somebody a racist by saying black people. Because if you're not racist, you're not racist, point blank, right? Is that, you know what I mean? That's
if you're not racist, you're not racist. And I think
that actually, that was a lot of the point I felt like I was trying to make earlier too. But yeah, I think you made a lot of great points there. I agree with a lot of what you said, definitely.
Right. And what I said in the chat, which is what I'll say here, is if you feel like when they said white people, that applies to you, Like the only people that should apply to when people say, "Oh, white people should stop talking about black issues," are the actual racist people. That's what those tweets are for. They're for the racist white people or racist whatever people who don't like people for their skin color. That's what those tweets are for.
I'm going to 100% disagree with you on that because she's actually referring to Kayleigh McEnany, Scott Baio. She's responding to specific people and then generalizing about those tweets. So then, is she calling Kayleigh McEnany and Scott Baio racists?
Yes, if she is quoting them in that tweet and saying that, then yes, she is, in my opinion, calling them racist.
Well, specifically name Kayleigh McEnany and Scott Baio. Then I mean that's the thing.
Because she names white conservatives, so is all white conservatives.
Right, and she did point out she could have worded it better, and I agree. And that's where I said before, do I feel like she's necessarily racist? No, probably not. But it's the way she's presenting herself, and you also have to keep it in mind again. Like, I'm part of a public, YouTube channel. I have to watch what I say. Why? Because either A, somebody will try and cancel me, or B, Andre could fire me for it if I say something stupid. I think that does apply here with certain things as well for anybody, no matter what your color is, no matter what your sex is, or any of that. If you're a part of a public, company, and I do feel like that's also fair to point out that, certain of these tweets may have been made at a different time. But again, it also goes with, you need to think about it before you put it out there publicly. That's something
we can all agree on.
Exactly.
This is something I do want to bring up because she's now representative for Lucasfilms. Lucasfilms isn't just American. Lucasfilms is worldwide. They have Disney's worldwide, and they own Lucasfilms. She's representing a worldwide company. So tweeting about things that are happening in America, her personal view about that reflects on the company itself. So when you say, oh, she's referring to Black Lives Matter, she's saying stuff about Black Lives Matter, it's like, I'm Australian. The Black Lives Matter doesn't exist here. It has no context for me. It doesn't matter to me. That's like, obviously slavery and all that is wrong. And I can, as a moral person, I can go, that's wrong. What happened to people was wrong. I can say that as a white person. And I can recognize wrongs that have happened in the world, across the world, to do with minority groups. But when people do BLM, it's like, I don't know, like it is nothing. It has nothing to do with me. But but
it has. I mean, it's important to her. It's important to her. It is what it is. I want to try, because we have a lot of people on here. Saggy, you're welcome to stay on if you want, because I like your perspective on this. Because it is a bunch of dudes talking. So if you'd like to, you're welcome.
He needs the diversity.
No, I always take the diversity when I can get it. I'm not going to lie about it. But yeah, tune out whenever you want. But I also have do you have like can you show your cartoon or your cam just so Saggy Melons just makes it look even worse, like a bunch of dudes just. Out there, Saggy Melons. Anyway,
I don't know how to use Zoom.
Zoom's tough, I know. See what we can do. But hang as long as you like. Lucifer, you there?
Yes, I am. How are you, Andy?
We have the devil in the house. What's up, dude?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's currently 3:30 in the morning here.
You stayed up late. I saw we were talking. You had some interesting insight. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So thank you for staying up late in the UK to chat on the show and for supporting. Thanks, man. So go ahead. What did you want to say?
Well, like I was saying to you earlier on Twitter, I mean, this may not be directly related to the subject at hand, but we have this, what a lot of people are calling a culture war going on. And I respectfully disagree. I actually think it's a war of narcissists.
Huh.
And I say that because I am someone who is the son of a parent with narcissistic personality disorder. And if anyone else out there who's watching is a child of a narcissistic parent, then they know that means you go through many years of psychological and mental abuse. It will lead to you going to therapy and counseling, which I still do now. It's a very hard thing to go through, but you also learn a lot about narcissism. Now, I'm not exactly an expert in it, but I've learned a hell of a lot over the years about it. And every time I see something that involves this so-called culture war or cancel culture, what I see is a lot of people with symptoms or narcissistic traits. Now, I'm not saying that everyone on one side or the other or both sides are narcissists, I'm just saying that there's a lot of traits there, and that would suggest to me that, like I said, this is a war of narcissists.
Interesting idea. I could see where you're coming from in that. Anybody have a thought on that? Disagree with him?
No, actually.
I love his vibe.
Me too.
I was going to say,
the whole room, dude.
Yeah, you can listen to you talk for hours, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Hey, give me a phone book and I will talk for hours.
You're very engaging, I'll tell you that.
I'm gonna look for
Lucifer Storm. I mean, he's got the name and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. I think you bring up some very good points because, yeah, well, first of all, the elephant in the room, or not such elephant in the room, Hollywood is just chock full of narcissists. That's what it's made of. It's people who constantly sit there, go, worship me, watch me, look at me, adore me.
I'm so special. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a different opinion.
but think about this for a second though. I mean, we've raised not we, the figurative we. I mean, this generation is this all these people that were told you're so special, you're just so special, you're just so special. You know, kids who didn't keep score playing soccer/football for you, Lucifer. Yeah, I'm not a completely uncultured American, but you know, and everybody was been told like, oh, you're so special. And now we have a whole generation now of people that say, I want to see myself on screen. I'm like, how narcissistic are you that you can only watch a movie if you are on screen watching yourself? I mean, I don't want to see myself on screen. If I want to see myself on screen, every movie would star Jack Black. I mean, that's just
good casting. Yeah. He's a fun dude in real life too.
Yeah, well, but you know, I don't want to see a short, dumpy guy in every movie. Come on, I want to see good-looking people up there.
Don't you disrespect Jack Black?
I'm not disrespecting Jack Black.
He's a beautiful man.
Yeah, I like.
He is, isn't he?
Good tweet, good YouTube channel too, Mr. Anyway, Lucifer. Yeah, man, I like that. I like the take. Anything else you want? Any other brilliance you want to bestow before you're out? And yeah, come back anytime, man.
I do have a question. Do you really think that that a culture war isn't going on and it's just a battle between narcissists? You don't think that
it's not that I don't think that there's a culture war going on. I just think that a lot of the stuff that we're looking at and labeling as part of the culture war is actually the war of the narcissists. I think that's where the heart of the problem is, and that's why there is a culture war going on. And we can see that because certain traits that narcissists have, I mean, one of them is you must agree with me. If you do not agree with me 100%, if you don't toe the line, if you ask questions, if you play devil's advocate, I will hurt you. I will defame you in any way possible, because they're trying to keep that control on you. That's the thing with narcissism. It's all about a very fragile ego. They cannot admit when they are wrong. And I'm talking about narcissists, not any other like political group in particular. So if they can't admit when they're wrong, what they have to do is twist facts, take all these different leaps in logic, do mental gymnastics, and then they get angry, they get aggressive, they shout, they scream, they point the finger, and they go, you know what? I'm going to make you feel like you are the worst type of human being on the world. And what better way to do that than to start pointing the finger at you and start saying, you're this ist, and you're this phobe, and you're this ist, and this, and this, and this, to try and silence you because you're asking a question.
No, I think you're right, but it's also, you got what you have here is a dangerous storm mixed with a political ideology.
Well, I think the political side of it is, unfortunately, politics has become a fad. And what we are seeing coming out of that, mixed with the narcissism and the culture war, is we are seeing firsthand what happens when a fad becomes fatal.
Yeah, I also
got some really good points.
Thank you. Yeah, I really liked how you explained that. That made a lot more sense to me. But I do want to add. I think there's also something, a key component in there is that narcissism, I think, stems from some nihilism too. So like, if there's nothing else to believe in, you only have to believe in yourself, and so that makes people kind of embrace that narcissism even more. Yeah. So I think there's,
I agree with you, John. I really do agree with you. It reminds me of a quote, and bear in mind, I'm not a religious person whatsoever, believe it or not, regardless of what my first name is. But there was a quote, and I wish I could remember who said it, and that was, those who do not believe in God will believe in anything else.
Yeah.
And I think
so much
that
for me
kind of
making a
relates to
deal.
this.
No, I agree with
man.
you 100. I agree with them almost 100% too, though. Outside
Thank
of
you.
adding in the ideology and a lot of the other stuff, and yeah, one does not exclude the other. You can have both narcissistic personality traits along with, nihilism and other things mixed in with it. It's not necessarily you can have a dangerous cocktail. I think both you guys, John and you, make some very great points there about this whole movement, I guess, is for lack of a better term.
Hey, if you don't have a YouTube channel yet, man, start one. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I just subscribed to it.
Yeah, no.
Thank you very much.
Lucifer, I was going to say, I'll be in touch
he
because we should talk more. Yeah, I like your...
Yes,
when I saw your
absolutely. I'd love
message,
to.
I was like, damn, please call in tonight. And then he was so late. In fact, you know what? Stick around, man. You just stayed up till... You can hang as long as you want. I know you stayed up in the middle of the night to be here, so keep on in here.
I'll stick around.
I have some other calls I just want to burn through because I promise I don't want to try and do it, but let's just quickly. But yes, if you have another pearl of wisdom, I want to hear it, so please keep it going.
Cool.
And look who's in the building. Darth Daddy Lunga. What's up, dude? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear audio okay?
I can hear you, man. Good to see you, man.
Okay. Good.
Good to see you.
Good,
What,
man.
did you have?
Good to see you. Good to be here.
Good. Glad.
hi,
dude,
Darth.
I'm happy to have you here,
Hey,
man.
Saggy.
Do you have any? You said you had something to add. Go ahead. Open
Yeah,
lines, man.
Well, first, I want to start out and say the Saggy stole my thunder. She literally said most of the things I was going to say. But it's cool. Me and Saggy know each other. We're cool. She's been on my game streams and stuff. So there's a few things I want to point out. Like when we were talking about the article, and again, I kind of caught this in the middle, so I'm not sure. John, were you the writer of one of the articles, or you work on CBR?
He's the man. As he
I
told
do not
me,
work for CBR.
head cheese, editor in chief.
Yeah, at Banning Comics. I wrote this article. Yes.
Okay.
It's just her. It's basically just quoting her tweets.
Sure.
The tweets. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's a little more than that, though, isn't it? Here's the thing. Because the words were used like we just want to report the news. Reporting the news is saying, hey, this is what people are talking about. This is what's out there. The moment you start adding and implying what those words meant, it now becomes an op-ed. It is no longer reporting. So it is an op-ed. So it is putting it in that kind of position of an op-ed, not just reporting the news. That's the first thing we want to mention. And as far as the words, okay, and taking those tweets, and people can just, people can interpret them however they want. That's the beauty of the English language. That's the beauty of everything we do. We all interpret things differently. And that's what happens with tweets because they're only, 280, 240 characters, whatever it is, 280 characters. The words white people, and this is why it's so extremely tone deaf, is actually, and Saggy, back me up, correct me if I'm wrong, is actually a pretty common vernacular in the black community, okay? There's lighthearted jokes. White people can't dance. White people can't do it. It is a common vernacular in the black community. When you guys talk about Lucasfilm, you don't say Kathleen Kennedy, bop, 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 bop. You say Lucasfilm. Okay? When you talk about any organization that's doing stuff, you say the whole thing. Or when people talk about Black Lives Matter, you don't point out, the violent Black Lives Matter. You say Black Lives Matter is this. Everyone does that, okay? Because we assume that the reader, as long as they're not looking to be outraged, the reader is going to understand that they're not saying all, that it's not implicit, and it's not intended to say all. And if you want to take that assumption on, now you're putting it into a different realm of your own lens. You're not taking it as the person said it. You're not taking the context of when it was happening, why it was happening. You're not taking the context that everything that person has been through on a short tweet in response to people in threads that were being horrendously racist towards her as well. There is a lot of stuff going on here, okay? And a lot of and that should be taken into account.
I want to stop you there. You said people are being racist to her in these tweets that are in the article. Can you? I'd like to.
I didn't say the article. I said the tweets that you guys posted. Someone was saying in chat that they were responding. They were responding to other people. Well, there's other people being racist to her in the response to those tweets. I didn't say your article was being racist. I said the tweets that she was responding to.
Where? Yeah. Can you? Can you show that? I'd like to.
If you, I'm seeing one right now.
Send me a link in the chat on our Zoom if you have something, and I'll open it.
This guy's not being racist towards her. This guy's telling his own story.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. She's responding to an Asian person's experience of dealing with racism. So it's not even just talking about black people's issues. She's also talking about Asian people.
The guy coughing on this guy isn't being racist. That's just a guy being horrible. That's just a person being horrible.
Right, but I'm saying what he is perceiving, the person that she's retweeting, what she is perceiving as, and what he's perceiving as someone being discriminatory towards him. is what she's responding to. So whether or not that person in that tweet that he was talking about was in fact a racist or not, he's perceiving it as being a racist moment. She's responding to what she is seeing as a racist moment.
I don't have anything to say to that.
That's all I'm saying.
I'd like
it's
some
like
context though, because did he have a mask on?
Well, he said, well, I can read the tweet. I see it on the screen here. So it says, so I had my first breathing while Asian moment, went out for groceries, and an older masked woman passing by the line. Yeah, so, but yeah, a white woman, sorry, shouted F you at me for no apparent reason. As I stared at her, she pulled off her mask, coughed directly at me, turned on her heel, and walked off. And there's more, but we can't see more because.
Well, that's why I was asking if he had his mask on, because I've seen people do that to people who don't have masks on if they're wearing the mask. It could not necessarily have anything to do with his race. That's what I was asking for. If there's a tweet in there where he says, yeah, I had a mask on, then yeah, because in this tweet here, he does not say that. So
I mean, yeah, he doesn't say it, but what I'm saying is he's explaining a moment he felt was a racist interaction, and she is responding to said racist interaction.
Can we let's do the context. Can we not forget that the really crazy anti-maskers, people that would shout in a grocery store "fuck you" to someone, excuse me, language, I'm not Indian enough. No, you're okay. Shouting that out in a grocery store are typically, let's be fair here, alt-right people who are followers of Trump, okay, and people who believe a lot of conspiracy theories, okay, and. Now we're not talking about all white people here, but you know what? If you take some crazy anti-maskers who are way on the right, who believe
has the woman wearing the mask.
That's what I was saying. She's wearing her mask.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I'm not sure where you're going with that.
Yeah. If she pulls it off and coughs on him, she's wearing the mask because she had to get in the store. I mean, do we really want to play? Because why else would she yell "fuck you" and remove the mask?
Because I've seen, like I just said, I've literally seen people who are wearing their mask. If they see somebody who is not wearing a mask, yell at them and do this exact kind of activity.
Right. Listen, I'm not assuming much. I'm going by what is out there and what we see. You guys, I mean, we got to go with Occam's razor here, don't we? Let's try to be. That's not even close to Occam's razor. Sorry.
Are you kidding me? We can go with Occam's razor. This guy starts his tweet off with, I had my first breathing while Asian moment, immediately playing the victim Olympics and setting the scene for this person.
Right. The victim's the problem.
They're racist. Exactly. No, they're saying this person did this because they're racist. They immediately are starting the tweet off saying that. There's no context to this tweet. They're assuming that she's racist.
You know who has less context? You. He was in that situation. No, you're presuming. You just presumed
a whole bunch. You just said these anti-maskers come up and they cough on people on purpose. They're Trump alt-right supporters.
Because they have. Show me the slew of Asian people lying about racism.
Right, and
I can show you more people who are upset about the mask.
And just Lunga to add to it, Kung flu has been a thing for a long time. They have been triggered and stirred up for crazy, and so it's not uncalled for him to assume that. But at the same time, it doesn't say it specifically. But I hear where Lunga's coming from. I can see why he made that assumption of Kung flu, China virus. F you, it's your fault. We have.
But the funny thing,
it's your fault. We have this. I'm going to cough on you. It's easy to make that assumption here. I don't think it's completely off base.
Kung flu is, I would say that's like on the extreme side, but China virus, that's not racist. Spanish flu, is that racist?
Oh, no. Come on. The positioning, call it what it is. Call it the China virus. That was extremely.
China,
I don't care where it came from.
I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get in that political politics. So thank you. Let's not turn this into a Trump political debate.
Thank you for having me. I do have to run.
Yes, thank you, Saggy.
I would have loved to stay, but I do have
We'll have you back.
Saggy,
for joining us.
Among us tomorrow.
Yes, I will be there. I have so many. I'm everywhere. But thank you guys for having me. Good luck with the conversation. You guys have a great night.
All right, take care.
So yeah, I just think we need to get back to the topic at hand. I don't think we need to get into a discussion about the name of the.
Yeah, I don't want to get into China virus. I'm just saying. I'm adding that. I only added that because that's where the assumption's coming from, and I don't think it's unfair to do that. Yes, it came from China, but Kung flu and all these other things, it's Chinese people have been affected a lot, and obviously not all the Chinese people are the reason we have it. So it is what it is. But Lunga, just to get to sort of the final point of what you want to say.
This is the main question I have. I mean, do you guys take the biases out and the presumptions out? Do you really think
impossible for a human to do that?
No, but this is a simple question. Do you really think that people of color who say they deal with racism on a daily basis, do you think that is overblown, or do you think that's truth? Do you think this exists?
Do I think racism exists? Yes, I do think.
No, that's not what I asked. I said, do you think black people in this country who talk about it, that they have to deal with it on a daily basis, do you think that's real?
Yes, I do think that does happen to people,
Okay.
but I also think that that it is overblown in the media for sure.
Well, okay, well that you just contradicted yourself there.
No, I didn't. I said that it does happen for some people. I don't think it's
Some
as
people
widespread as what the media makes.
Right.
It.
What would you
not
rate?
contradicting at all.
What would you gauge it at? And we're not talking about the media. We're talking about people of color every day coming on social media everywhere saying, are you calling them liars? Which one is it? Because it's one or the other. If you have all these millions of people talking about marches happening,
I
for people
definitely
that
think it
deal with
happens.
this-
I don't think it happens to the amount that you see it all happening all the time.
Right. Well, I think that's kind of tone deaf because since you're not black and you don't get that happening to you, you can't really make that assessment, can you?
Yes, you can.
You asked him to
Why
make
can't
the
you?
assessment, man. How can you say you
You're
can't make
asking
that
for an
assessment when you
opinion.
asked his
No. I said, do you think it exists?
Do
Then he
not,
said
uh,
some.
Do you not look
Yeah, it does.
at?
Do you
not
think
make
every black
opinions every
person
day?
experiences racism? Every single one?
Doesn't have to be every single one, but you know what?
Question, dude.
If it's
Nicely answered it.
no, it's not a gotcha moment.
Yes, it
if it's
is.
40%,
Yes, you're trying to paint me as a
50%,
racist.
60. Listen,
That's exactly
if you're
what you're
no,
trying
I'm
to do.
not. No,
Yes, you
I'm not.
are.
I'm asking. No, I'm not. I'm not. Don't put labels on me. I'm asking you a question
I'm
because
not
there's a
putting a label
follow-up
on
question.
you.
Because there is a follow-up question to this. Okay, you're
what is it?
quantifying it. I didn't ask for a quantification. You're quantifying some, which is a very vague number, which
yes,
to
you
you
did.
can be
You
this
asked
many,
me-
to some can be this many. I said, do you think it exists? That was my question. Please
No, you
don't
didn't.
change my
No, you
question.
didn't. That's not.
Really?
What you asked.
Can you rewind the tape? Because that's what I asked you.
Yeah, let's rewind the tape then. Can we do that?
Please, because I said,
can't-
do
I don't
you
know how to
think that
rewind the tape.
exists?
So we have to end it. I mean, I want to. We'll have to agree to disagree. So if Lunga, look, thanks for coming on.
The typical way when someone loses an argument is to say you're calling me a racist and run.
No, you
I'm
changed
not
the
running.
topic. You changed the topic from the
I
start
didn't.
because I asked the
I
simple
didn't.
topic.
No, the topic is about Krystina being called a racist for what she said. And I'm telling
Well,
you,
I
she's
never
dealing
called
with
her
stuff on a
racist,
daily
but
basis.
I asked a completely different question.
Right.
And you went off on a
You said
completely
she
different
thinks
tangent.
all white people are racist, and everybody on this panel agreed with that. That's what her belief is. If that is not saying she's a racist, I don't know.
No, I
what
don't
is, 'cause
remember
that's what
saying
you guys
that.
were saying.
I didn't
don't
say
put
that
words
she
in
thinks
my
all white
mouth,
people are
sir.
racist. I said that her tweets insinuate that.
Right. Insinuate that. Just like you're sick and tired, but you're not outraged, which is the same
I'm
thing.
not-
You guys
I'm
want to
not
know? You guys
outraged
want to play
anymore.
games with words? You guys
You're
want to
the
play?
only one
No,
who's getting
outrage is
really
not.
worked
Well,
up
look,
here.
Lunga,
Outrage.
Lunga,
No,
what-
outrage.
Biased opinion
Outrage
and
is not
biased questions.
screaming.
You,
I mean, you
you
get that,
asked
right?
No, and
Outrage
I'm
is not
glad.
screaming.
I'm
Questions and then
glad. I'm
screaming.
glad no one's screaming right now. I'm glad we're having a civil conversation. But look, the reality is these are important conversations. You guys, there's a lot of people don't agree on this stuff, and I don't want to trigger or try to sandbag or have people be mad at each other. And I appreciate you coming in, Lunga, and sharing your view. And I appreciate John and everybody else coming in and sharing their view because that's the reality of where we're at. If we can't try to have these conversations civilly, what the hell are we doing? I understand it's getting heated. I don't want to try. I'm not trying. I'm just trying to deflate and appreciate all of you guys and make this work. But Lunga, thank you for saying the piece. Did you have any final comment or something you want to say as we wrap? I got a lot of people I want to burn through. But thank you for coming
That's
in. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks
Catch
for
you
the
later.
questions.
All right, so back to it. Lucifer, any wisdom you can add now to help us feel good?
Yeah, I would just like to ask the question of, have any of you guys heard of something called the death of the author?
No.
No.
Right, now I'm bringing that up because you guys don't know me. This is the first time we've all met. I'm an independent graphic novelist and author. Now, there's this little phenomenon called the death of the author. And basically what that means is if I write a story, whether it be as a comic book or as a prose piece, whilst I'm writing it, I'm the author. Once I put it into your hands and you start reading it, as the author, I am dead. You start to become the author. Because it's the same when we go into a movie. We all take our own baggage into that movie, into that viewing experience. The same with the reading experience. And that's why I'm not really saying much about Christine's tweets here. Because I'm taking my own baggage to it, just like everyone else is. I don't think this is a case of anyone being right or wrong. Just like I said, I think we're all taking our own baggage into it and coming to our own conclusions that way.
I like it. I like getting Lucifer's thoughts. All right, we have Myra.
I mean, isn't that the human experience?
Well, I mean, the
Yeah,
thing
I
I was
guess you could
starting
call it
off
that.
with was I was trying to make a point of assumptions before it got totally derailed to begin with.
Yeah, we should be careful making
because-
assumptions.
Yeah, again, we're going off of a story told from the point of view of this person who, going by the tweet, is trying to set up this scenario that they were treated racistly or in a racist way. But I asked again, was this person wearing a mask? There's a lot of other factors that aren't addressed here that if they are, please somebody let me know. But other than that, from what I see here, I see her jumping to a lot of conclusions based on the tweet that this guy presented. And I don't blame her for that. If he is making this shit up, then shame on him. But if not, well, then he's totally justified. I'm not saying this didn't happen in the way he's presenting it. That's not what I was saying. But what I was trying to point out was there's people jumping to assumptions where, like I just said, right here in the thing, I don't see anywhere where it says he said he's wearing a mask. Now, one could assume that somebody was more upset that he wasn't wearing a mask that had nothing to do with his race. And that's where this jump to a conclusion that just because somebody's white, they're automatically a racist. And that's what I, couldn't get out earlier because, but anyway.
Yeah, and Lewis in the chat dropped the facts anyway. What you do when you're coughed on by someone,
Call the cops.
Because it's COVID, you call the cops. And
Exactly.
you don't get on Twitter and
Yeah.
go, I had an Asian while breathing moment. Like, it's
Well,
just
I mean,
virtue signaling to
everyone
them.
can say whatever they want, but yes, call the cops. Did we get Myra in there? Myra, are you there? And again, sorry guys, I'm just hanging because there's a lot of people watching. People wanted to talk to me, but again, I just always feel bad. Dip out whenever anybody needs to dip out. Myra, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up?
Can you
What's
hear
up?
me? Oh no, so I have an interesting take on a lot of this stuff. I think everybody's in their own echo chamber, so they're surrounded by people who think exactly the same way, and they're kind of like they're kind of like becoming their own little small cult. And then so when a person that has a different point of view contradicts them, they go on the attack because you're attacking their belief structure. Kind of like how people on the coast during the election didn't understand, like we are in our echo chamber of more progressive, while we're not understanding people's point of views who live like in the middle, like the Midwest.
Thoughts?
I was using the restroom, so
sorry. We all suffer from a different from a type of myopia. I mean, we all bring what was it called? It used to be called cultural bias. When many moons ago, when I was still pretending I was going to a university.
Yeah, I agree with some of that to a point, but the other problem on the side of it I see is as far as like the echo chamber business, you create your own echo chambers in a way, because obviously if you're losing friends, then either there's something you're doing wrong or you got the wrong friends, right? Like, because in our community, that's the thing, as we brought up before, we have a wide swath of not only religious but political backgrounds and race and religions and everything else. So I don't see this problem in our community so much, but I see it in areas where we have this problem of the gang up, the cancel culture, a lot of that kind of stuff. And again, I'm speaking from my point of view as well, as Rob was saying, and you were just pointing out as too. So I mean, yes, you are right to a point. I do feel that you're making some good points there, but again, I do feel like some of that is choice, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Some of those people don't necessarily, I don't want to say like a choice, is that they are so much part of a group that they can admit that they're wrong. What's that? Mark Twain.
Cognitive dissonance, or is that what you mean? Or
maybe, but there's this quote from Mark Twain that I can't even think of right now, where he says nobody wants to admit they were a fool. I have to look it up. But another thing is that a lot of times is that we are now we've changed our opinion of debating. Like nobody knows how to debate anymore, that it's my way or the highway. So instead of people talking it out and be like, okay, you know what, I respect your opinion, but I don't agree. Now it's, you're wrong. You're the worst person in the world. You're a total idiot. And instead of like de-escalating, it causes it to rise up instead.
Right, you're very right. Like instead of saying, "Oh, I disagree with you," it turns into, "Well, you're an istophobe or you're a bigot," And I think, please somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the quote you were saying was, nobody wants to admit they're a fool, least of all a fool. If I'm not mistaken.
I think that's the quote. It's like nobody wants to admit, you know what, I might be wrong. Nobody ever wants to admit that anymore. Everybody just wants to be like, no, I'm right. It's my way, or you're totally wrong. So that's why instead of we're becoming more divisive instead of trying to unite.
Well, that plays into what Lucifer Storm says.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
about the narcissism.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, there's
and with that, I want to add with narcissism that means there's a lack of humility. There's no humility anymore.
Yeah, there's a lack of humility. There's also a lack of empathy.
Yep.
As well. And it's all because of an unhealthy ego. See, a lot of people love to throw around the whole thing of, oh, this guy's got an ego. Well, we all have. We can't exist without an ego. It's whether your ego is healthy or unhealthy. Someone with a healthy ego can hear someone say, hey, look, I respectfully disagree. And they go, okay, cool, no skin off my nose. I'm still going to sleep comfortably tonight. But someone with an unhealthy ego, they are going to get mad. If they don't say something, you will literally see them shake from the adrenaline from where they're getting mad.
Yeah. There's also something called
shaking.
Yeah, there's also something called egocentrism. And you know, when you ask like a 5-year-old, like a child who has a sibling, and he goes, "Who's your brother?" "Oh yeah, Billy's my brother." "Does Billy have a brother?" "No." Because they can't see the world from any way else but from their perspective. And I think that's what's happening a lot. People have this egocentrism. I am the center of the universe. Everything I say is correct. You know, they can't conceive of anything else.
Agreed.
But I also wonder if some of it is our own fault by like trying. I hate the term snowflakes, but it also describes people a lot now. Like, I went to college. I went to UC Irvine. And now when you go to college, you have to have, trigger warnings. You have to have a safe space. When college was a time where when everybody from different cultures come and you get to experience everything. Now there's protests if there's a speaker with a totally different political view than you, they want to kick him out. There's like riots and I'm like, what's going on? Like teachers are like, oh no, this is a safe place. This is a safe zone. I'm like, when did culture change like this in like 20 years?
Just recently.
That's a really good question.
It happened inside of those universities that you're talking about. That's where it happened. And now people go on Twitter and they don't have the ability to civil discourse. They don't have the ability to debate.
It's The Coddling of the American Youth. A very good book that you
and-
all should read from Jonathan Haidt and Greg Lufinoff. How good intentions and bad ideas set up a generation for failure. I've plugged this book a lot because it's good. But yeah, it's a good point, Myra. But Myra, thank you. I want to, since there's still a few in the waiting room, I want to get through them. But I always love talking to you. Thank you always for your support and being here. Enjoy your day or your night, rather. It's a little earlier out there in California for you. See ya.
Take care, Myra.
We had a couple more in there. As we Jim Needle, are you on the call?
Yeah. How's it going?
It's going good. What's up? What did you want to ask?
So, when we think about Krystina, what is Krystina? Ultimately, as a hired professional, Krystina is a communicator. And what we're all talking about here tonight is how poorly she communicated whatever her thoughts were. Because we're all debating, well, is she racist? Isn't she racist? And the second level of that, she's a communicator of children's content. And Lucasfilm hired her to be a representative of their children's content. And so when children look up to this individual and see that she's potentially spreading hate or just anger, that's not a good look for Lucasfilm. And it's not something that I would want my children to be looking up to. And I don't know. And I just think fundamentally as a communicator, if she isn't racist, then she needs to be communicating her feelings better. Or certainly not on a platform that is directly tied to where she's employed. That is just crazy how we're tying all these things together between personal politics and work. If I were to do that as an employee for the company that I work for, guess what? I'm gone. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I kind of made that point earlier a little bit, some of what you said. Yeah, and I agree with a lot of it. And it is true, some of it, I would say. Does anybody else have any more to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of we've touched upon it about. I mean, I look, I think some people don't find what she said to be racist, and some people do. Is where the harm is. And personally, for me, I don't support cancel, and that's to me firing. I mean, firing to me needs to be more accountable of like you did something terrible. I think these words. As we've said numerous times, she could have definitely worded them much better. I don't disagree with that at all. But I don't think she should be fired for the things that she said, personally. But look, clearly
what would constitute a firing offense to you?
It's bigger now. I mean, like I'm trying to think of somebody who has lost. I mean, like Weinstein, obviously, right? I mean, but I'm trying to think of someone smaller than that. Like, because we talked about Roseanne. Like Roseanne's first tweet about I forget the person that she compared to the Planet of the Apes movie. Like, it was stupid. It was offensive. But there's also a point where like she was clearly like, if you watch the movie, like there was a little bit of a look. I don't think she meant it in a racist way, but because the connotation of monkeys and stuff, like it was stupid, and it did trigger and offend people. But like Tim Burton's makeup thing, like there was something I think she meant specifically about that version. I think it was stupid. Does she deserve to lose her whole show for it, for that specific tweet that she then apologized and said she was on the drugs? No, I don't. So it's like they just took her whole everything from her because of one stupid tweet that I really don't think she meant to say racist. Now she's done other things, and I don't want to get in the whole world of whether Roseanne's a good person or not. But my point is like, no, I think we have to be careful. Like Sawyer Hartley from Ralph the Flash, no, I don't think he should have gotten fired either. So those are more extreme sort of racist, seemingly racist things that have been out there that I don't think they should be fired for. And I think if you fire Krystina for that, it's going to go the other way even harder. So that's why I don't think it is smart to just rush off and fire her off of these things, because as Saggy and others have said, there's another take to these tweets that I understand affects you guys differently, but that's why it's sort of it's important to me that we don't just rush to judge off of a single tweet. Because look, let's be honest, whether you agree, John, or others, like some people don't find this as offensive or racist to white people. They, as Saggy said, and I can't ignore someone, she's admitted she's a person of color and a female. She's like, yeah, when I say something, it's speaking to that person directly. I think we all need to have these conversations, and Krystina should as well, of like, all right, look, maybe I did lump some groups together that I didn't mean to. At the same time, I stand by what I said to that specific person, and I think we'd all be better off for it if we could just be clear,
She should also, it's kind of ill-advised for her to be taking what somebody else's experience was without that context, what Jeff Yang went through, and then interpolate it to her own biosphere. Like, it just doesn't seem very responsible for a public figure to make all these assumptions. And it's kind of where we just were a couple minutes ago. It just doesn't really make sense for somebody to hop off of somebody else's conversation and then just say white man bad. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you need to do that? What does that add to anything? Especially when you're a public figure, and especially whenever children can find what you're saying. Like, what do teenagers do? How would you see teenagers perceiving her comments about white people being bad? Because to me, that's what matters.
Well, I agree with you, Jim, on the part about the context being there. Like, how is this hers to really own when she's, wasn't part of this? And again, I also agree with you on the other point that being that she's in a position where she is handling or being a part of a property that is a family property, and kids are, a part of it. Now, are kids on Twitter? I hope to hell not. But I mean, let's be real. Like you just said, there are teenagers and younger adolescents that are, and they see these kind of things, and it does bring into question. And that's something where I've gotten yelled at before because I had some opinions on things that I felt like shouldn't have been addressed on Sesame Street necessarily, or other things in children's programmings. Not because I felt like there was anything wrong with it per se, but it's not necessarily something that's important at that time of life yet, when you don't even understand the fundamentals of sex yet. And it's not something that you're even in that range of being taught. That's a totally different conversation than this, but I see it as the same kind of thing where, you really need to pick your spots to talk about these things if you're a part of a children's / family / whatever entertainment adventure, especially something like Disney, where like I'm amazed that just Disney alone would allow some people like this to act this way. And I mean, I don't know if she was worked for Disney at this point yet, but now do I think these tweets should be held against her now if she wasn't? No. Do I think these tweets should be held against her? Not necessarily, but that doesn't mean that she shouldn't necessarily be addressed about this stuff. And when they did, they supported her. So I think that's where John's coming from. See, and that's where it's like, yeah, we're not saying that she's necessarily, Star Wars is saying this, but they are in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, instead of turning around and doubling down on the other stuff by also saying, no, we also support Gina Carano, which they didn't. They were silent about for months. And they didn't say anything about John Boyega until it was way after the fact. And he used, the situation to point out, hey, you guys did me wrong. And that's where we're at right now, is like, when do these companies hold their employees accountable for what it is they put online? Because we've seen companies that aren't film studios hold people accountable for things that they say online. And so do I feel like that's fair? Maybe not necessarily. But again, that's where we have to sit down and get into a morality debate on what it is we're putting out there.
Jim, thank you. I got because I do want to stick around for another 20 minutes or so to get through the last callers.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
guys.
for being here,
Thank you
Jim. I appreciate it.
Out there. Have a great night.
Have a good one, man.
Take care, Jim.
And then we have Stuart. I appreciate these calls. I always have fun hearing the other perspectives. So, Stuart, you're next, real quick. We got a few more in the waiting room. I'll get you guys in. We'll do a rapid fire here. Stuart, quickly, what did you want to ask?
So I personally work for a Fortune 500 company, and so when I kind of heard you guys talking about Star Wars and Lucasfilm and making these decisions, I mean, they're paying probably someone $50,000 to $60,000 a year to manage that account for social media, and then they probably have someone that supervises that. Then they have someone who supervises that, and so on and so forth. I mean, the amount of bureaucracy that happens in these companies, and I guess Andy, you probably experienced this a little bit at Defy. I can't imagine Defy's like closely looking at Screen Junkie's Twitter feed every day to give you comment on, is this okay or is this not okay? Like, there's all these different channels on how
Depends what we said.
Correct. So that's the thing. So if this was brought up by the New York Times or someone else, so if you guys remember like the original Adpocalypse on YouTube, it was all started because the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal brought it up and said, hey, and made a bunch of hay about it. The same thing with Gina Carano. It just needs to be brought up by one of these big trades to say like, hey, look at like she's receiving abuse online. The thing is, these trades don't want to pick it up, and so this is why Disney's not going to make a stink about it. I think in this instance, I would be interested to figure out the internal processes of how this was brought up. I mean, if I have a problem,
I think you're bringing up the point. It's a good question of like why Gina's was way bigger. She's been trending way bigger. Even when this happened, Krystina's name wasn't trending. Gina's name was trending once again.
Stuart, I agree with Stuart 100%, and I'm sure he knows because, like he just said, he works in these companies, and that's kind of what we do over at Midnight's Edge. And no, he's 100% correct, and that's where the weird thing is the only people that have been covering the Gina story have only been mainly the conservative outlets. Unfortunately,
Vanity Fair covered it.
Yeah, I mean, even at my job, if I got sexually harassed, I have to call a number or call my HR representative, right?
Right.
Like I don't go to my direct department head and like to my director or whatever, right? There's like they even there's just a division even in that in terms of who takes responsibility. So it's hard for me to think that like the hiring manager did the background check on these tweets, or I can't even imagine how lax of a hiring process is. I mean, do you guys even remember there's YouTube does these video reviews, and someone published that video from Logan Paul where there's a dead body in a forest. It's just they're paying someone $9 an hour to do this stuff, and it's obviously it impacts the company huge, but again, it's just for me, I just think that this is just
I don't know.
It's a low-level podcast. How many downloads do you guys think this even gets? Like who? I can't even imagine Bob Iger or anyone. They could cancel it tomorrow and they wouldn't blink twice about it.
I don't know. There is a part of me that thinks this was taken up the chain a bit to make the apology. I don't feel like some minimum wage social media person decided to just do that apology. I think there was a decision made to do that because they know there's a lot of angry Star Wars fans. They've been saying it for decades, right? Since Last Jedi, etc. Like they know, maybe they just don't pay attention anymore, to be honest. Maybe, but it does feel like it was. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't do it to Gina. I just don't.
I don't know either. I will say that's weird, but at the same time, that is such like PR spin. The tweet they send sounds like anything negative, they would just copy and paste that, kind of like a ad libs or mad libs for PR. That's basically what I feel like they do.
I'm not trying to stroke John's ego at all. I do think that tweet was response to his article.
Yeah, but
it was John's article, but it was John's article tweeted by Jack. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's the thing is, like, yeah, it was totally in response to that, and we've seen this in other things throughout the last few weeks with the way, Disney forced Pablo Hidalgo to apologize. We've seen, with the love being thrown out there for John and Dave for the whole Mandalorian thing, because I don't want to get into spoilers, just in case there is some people in the chat who just happen to not have seen it yet. And the other people that have been involved in all that, Twitter love going back and forth online, including like Peyton Reed and a few others, Mark Hamill and stuff like that, and how they have been gotten jumped on for even talking about that kind of stuff. It's been a really weird last few weeks, and then with the announcement of the High Republic basically landing with a big thud, and then getting completely overshadowed by the Feige movie news getting a writer, which all that did was just get a writer. And it completely overshadowed this entire, universe that they're trying to build here. I'm sure there's a lot of hurt feelings and things going around that you can kind of build the blocks yourself. It's not too hard.
Maybe, but I doubt any of us will ever know who decided to greenlight this tweet. And I don't even think they're probably even very public. They probably even have a private LinkedIn.
I honestly don't know, because last we know they were looking for somebody to fulfill this role. So I don't even know who's running it right now, to be honest.
Right, but it's not Kathleen. It's not.
Right, and if you look at it,
I can't even.
No tweet has gotten this level of engagement. I mean, I've scrolled down. It's crazy. I guess the Kelly Marie Tran tweet did. That's help us wish her a happy birthday. That got a lot. But aside from that,
well, that was just to remind people it was James Earl Jones.
And that I was just going to say that got ratioed to heck because of the James Earl Jones thing.
And then but 48,000, like it's tracking. So I don't know. There clearly was a decision. I agree. I don't know who made the call. And to me, it's like, look, this girl shouldn't be fired. I don't believe she should. It is what it is. But why did they have to publicly put it out there? That's what we've been discussing. Stuart, thank you for calling in. I appreciate you. Keep it coming.
Last thing I'll say is, do you guys know, like, with the airbags blowing up, like, have you heard about this Takata airbags thing?
No.
Okay, they don't even fire the people that put in exploding airbags that kill you.
That's been for a couple years. Yeah.
Good point there, Stuart.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I really just think these companies just don't give a shit. So.
Yeah. Well, Disney is hurting. They are not making as much money as they hope to, but they'll make it up once those movies come out. But even they're sweating. Thank you, Stuart. I think Eric
might be right, though. If it wasn't the situation they're in now, they might not.
I think
give us
Disney's more worried about their parks being open than
exactly, which they are here in Florida, weirdly. Eric, I think you're next, but just real quickly, I got some super chats. I want to make sure I didn't avoid. Tony, thank you. Andy, just want to say thank you for standing up for Gina, speaking the truth. Hope you and Drunk C3PO get together and chat. Me too. I do like what especially his resurgence. Good for him. We were talking before that, but good on him. Thanks for standing up to the Snyder cult and those woke Star Wars fans. You got it, Tony. Thank you for that $10. Bad Media Fame. What up, Andy? Bad Fame Media. What up, Andy? What up, Bad Fame Media? Thank you for your support. Jen McMahon, good stream. Take it easy, and a virtual hug to everyone. I hope I didn't offend anyone. Safe space with a virtual hug. LOL. You didn't, Jen. Thank you for that super chat. And just a couple more quickly, then I'm going to get to you, Eric. Edward Coleman, the fact that Lucifer is making so much sense is scary. Lucifer discussing narcissism, the irony. Well, Satan, Lucifer, touche. James Taylor, there's a saying, hard times create hard men create good times and create weak men create hard times. Thank you for that, James. And I think, make sure I got them all. Remember, Jimbo, remember when we kept entertainment and politics separate? Good times, LOL. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Agreed.
That doesn't happen anymore. Good one to end on there. Thank you for
that
one,
Jim.
Jim.
It's not so much that it's always been separate, but it's been, you've had, like, obviously, if you knew you were going to see something like Milk, you're obviously getting into something.
You know what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. When you see Star Wars, you don't expect to see a bunch of sectionalism or intersectionalism or whatever in it. You don't expect to see a lot of the crap that we've gotten, especially when you get online and you say something about the film, and then all of a sudden you got Ryan Johnson retweeting you and calling you a crying man baby. I mean,
yeah, we have that. I have that up here too. Yeah, the fact that it really did all start there, where he taught. Yeah, it was.
Well,
it's been a long road for Star Wars fans.
I don't think it started there. I think it started with Abrams after The Force Awakens.
Here it is. Yeah, that's what I was just about to
Well,
pull.
you can
Yeah.
really trace a lot
The
of it back
toxic
to
fandom.
2016, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Let's be
Yeah,
real.
that thing there though is that's where Star Wars themselves and all these media outlets were calling out the Phantom Menace and calling out all these people that didn't like The Last Jedi. But above that is a bunch of death threats that J.J. Abrams and Star Wars got after Ben Solo died from these Reylo weirdo people.
Jesus.
So like
That's Rise
this
of
is the thing.
Skywalker.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can criticize The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. You're a toxic man, like because you don't like female-led characters because you happen to not like those movies. And it's like,
Yeah, and this isn't the Phantom Menace. These are like his fan. These are the real Disney fans.
Yeah, they don't say a peep about these people that are literally calling for the death of JJ because he wrote that Ben dies.
I'm going to
instead of
murder J.J. Abrams. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy would say Raylo.
There you
The
go.
people that, yeah,
Any
you're dealing
comment
with,
on that?
with Andy.
There's the fan base you wanted to cultivate right
good
there.
job.
There you go. Way to go, Kathleen Kennedy.
They did
But
it.
we're the toxic ones. Remember this.
And then here they are. And just to thank you for pulling this too, Paul. Like currently, the fans are still outraged by the lack of female characters in Mandalorian, even though there are 3. But here's tons of people complaining that there's not
And these
enough.
are the same people that attacked Gina Carano. Remember
Correct.
this too.
Correct.
Not all of them. Again, I'm not trying to generalize,
It's-
but a lot of these same people are the ones who went after Gina as well.
Star Wars didn't tweet out in support of her.
Correct. Again, what the stream was about, we got stuck on racism and a lot of other things, but the hypocrisy of their calling out who's a hypocrite or who's a bully isn't good. So Eric, really quick, I'm going to try and burn through. And Lucifer, can you refresh your video because you're stuck on a. It's not too unflattering of a shot, but see if you can turn your video on and off. We'll see you because I'll end on you in a minute. Eric, quickly as I wrap up because it's getting late, but I want to make sure I get through all of you. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, just this whole situation with Ash, with Jacelyn Ashley. I'm sorry, I just kind of forgot her name. No, with her, this just shows the problem with putting a broad brush on everybody. I believe you guys said earlier that she sent out a tweet saying that she didn't when she meant by white people, she didn't mean all white people. But I believe that's correct, right? Or did she ever say that she didn't mean all white people?
If she said a tweet like that, I don't remember seeing that. I think that's what people in the stream were arguing.
Yeah,
Okay.
she hasn't clarified to our knowledge yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is what happens when you make such a broad brush. When she means white people, even if you take into the context of that's how black people refer to like white people and all that, when you drop, she is in turn alienating people who would otherwise be her allies. When she means white people, at the end of the day, she just means white people, whether it's white people here, white people in Europe, all around the world, in Latin America, all that shit. This is the problem, and you need to be really specific because at that point you're alienating people who could be your potential allies, because instead you're expecting these people who are your allies who would otherwise agree with you to be upset at other white people. But if they've been doing this enough, if they've been totally fine, they're being punished for whatever issues that you have with other members of essentially their race, there comes a point when especially people who have been doing this for a long time, they snap and they say, you know what, I don't care anymore. I've been progressive. I've been with the cause all this time. I'm still getting shit on for the actions that my people, that, other people that look like me do. And it's just like, this is what happens. They're creating more conflict by alienating people who would otherwise be their friends because they're putting such a broad brush because they're, because not everyone in
Is
a certain
racist.
group is responsible for
Correct.
anything. Yeah.
I agree.
It's absolutely messed up. She's creating more, and comments like that create more animosity between races, between gender, between anything than anything else. You're not helping the cause. You're just creating it, and you're creating a reaction. It's like if the story of Mutiny on the Bounty, the captain punished the whole crew for the sins of a few. That doesn't work in real life, and that just ended up with the captain being thrown overboard and the ship going to Tahiti, if anyone's familiar with that story. But that's the whole issue, and unless this stops, this is not going to lead anywhere well. This is just and it's this type of rhetoric that's going to ruin any sort of movement that she had intended.
Agreed. I mean, it's happening in a lot of groups. I mean, it's happening with the trans community going after Gina, saying she's a transphobe when she's not. She's made very clear statements of support and never been anti. She mocked the bullies that were hating on her.
It was the same thing with the Trump thing. Like, it was like, oh, if you don't like Ghostbusters.
By the way, thank you, Eric. I appreciate it.
Oh, sorry.
I'm letting I can connect one as you finish, Tom. Sorry. Thank you, Eric. I'll catch you later.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Tom. Finish what you're gonna say.
No, yeah, Eric's. You're right. So thank you for sharing that, and I agree with a lot of what you said because it's like when you turn around and you called somebody a Trump supporter because they didn't like Star Wars, The Last Jedi, or Ghostbusters or something like that, you're possibly putting somebody off who could be an ally to your cause because that doesn't necessarily mean they do support Trump. But now that you've made that assumption, if they did, all they're just going to say is so. And if they don't, then you just created an enemy out of somebody who could have been a possible ally. I totally get where he's coming from on that. Yeah.
AC, quickly. Go ahead, AC. What's your question? You there?
Look, I think we've got our own views with everything. And I think Twitter gives us that ability to present those views. But I think there needs to be a second button on Twitter that says, are you sure you want to put this out? Because a lot of the time, because I've been listening to you guys, I love your channel. I love Midnight's Edge. It's so cool to see you guys on here as well. But,
thank you very much.
Yeah, man. I was yelling at my TV just before because I wasn't agreeing with everything. Because in the heat of the moment, I was like, no, F that. And then I stood back, I took a breath, and I went, we've all got our own opinions. We need to take a breath. But look, going to that tweet though, and what John was saying, I think during that time when she did tweet it, that it did seem like, hey, white people generalized. Like when I saw it as a white person, as an Australian white person, I went, sure, I get it, because during that time, Black Lives Matter was a huge thing that was happening around the world and in Australia, Paul. I'm sorry, I've got to disagree with you on that one in a second. But there's a movie called Dear White People. She's basically saying, hey, look, to those people that are racist, and this is my view, which is different to everyone else's. And it's great that we've got platforms to have conversations like this, Andy. So well done. But I think it was in that context. Stupid, yes. Should there be a button say, are you sure you want to say this? I think that needs to be added to Twitter. But sorry, as an Australian, I've got to say this, and I'm not attacking you, Paul, in regards to this at all. This is more of an educational thing. I'm a teacher. That's what I do.
That's why he hides his identity too, for the record, yeah.
That's why I've got all this on. But Black Lives Matter does matter in Australia. It is a thing because since the First Fleet came here, the Aboriginal people have been killed and enslaved. And we had a generation for 70 years where it was called the stolen generation, where Aboriginal people were taken from their families and put into white families.
Yeah, I'm aware of the history of Australia. The Black Lives Matter movement in America is very different to the co-opted Black Lives Matter here. Aboriginal issues and African American issues are very different, very complex. They are facing over 200 years of slavery, of being sold into slavery, about being murdered, being raped. I'm not saying that minimizes the Aboriginal plight.
We've been here for over 200 years. The exact same thing has been happening here.
No, we haven't. We were Federation for 100 years.
The First Fleet landed
115, I think it is. Don't quote me on that.
1788, mate. That's just education.
That's fine. I understand what happened when they came here, but Black Lives Matter is very different. It's a very different thing to what's in Australia, and it annoys me. It actually annoys me, and it does a disservice to Aboriginals for them to. And I don't want to derail what we're talking about.
Please don't.
To address the point that you're making, I don't need education on this. I'm very aware of what Aboriginals have gone through. I've gone through the education on it, and what I would say about that is there's a very different context to both these people groups, their suffering, what they've been through. That doesn't minimize either of the people groups' suffering, but what it does do is it very much annoys me when we have people like George Floyd being kneeled on in the street and being killed, right? And we see him being publicly lynched by police officers, and I have never seen that happen anywhere in Australia where someone a police officer has kneeled on an Aboriginal's throat in today's modern time and killed him in the street, killed him or her in the street. That's what annoys me, is because it is a cooperative movement that they're trying to stoke the outrage that is African-American outrage. And that's what I'm going to say on it. I don't want to derail it any further, but that's my opinion on it. I don't need education on what happened with the Aboriginals because I'm well aware of what happened with them.
Yeah, that's why we've got a platform, so we can disagree, because there are Aboriginal deaths in custody and there's violence, and it's maybe taking one hand off the eye. And it's not just for this, it's for all views on everything. It's very easy to get heated and erupt and put something on social media or put a video out, but it's taking a breath and going, well, hang on a second. Although I've got the ability to voice my opinion digitally and be vocalized, it's maybe going, hey, let's bring it back a little bit and do a bit of education. Take a couple of breaths and go, well, this is how I come from my point. How can I see someone else's?
I support that. Well said. And I was going to say, I like the comment of Aussies arguing over Zoom only on Popcorn Planet. That's right. Thank you guys, though, for having that civil discourse. AC, I appreciate your views and calling in. Always good to talk to you. He is a teacher. He just doesn't want his students and people to see him what he's watching, so he's not robbing a bank.
I thought he was making a ransom video.
Exactly. No, we know he's been on. Thank you, AC. Good to hear from you.
More videos. That's my ransom. More videos from Popcorn Planet.
You got it, dude. I'll be on it.
Less political.
Yeah,
less
dude, it's January. If the movies aren't happening, I'm trying my best. But I will. I like the guys over here. Tom, Rob, anytime. I'm happy to help you guys.
Videos, and STD is the most political show that there is in sci-fi. So I mean,
we'd love to get the politics out of it. Trust me, man.
Yeah, if I could not talk about politics, I would do it. AC, thank you though for being here. And then Ezekiel, you're up. Ezekiel, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
What's up, dude? Yeah, is that the Gecko?
Yeah, I just think it's funny.
He's got the Infinity Gauntlet. Even better. Okay. Go ahead. What's up, dude? Thank you for waiting. You've been in there a while, so thank you. Go ahead. What's up?
It's fine. It's just Lucifer is the one that inspired me to talk and bring up this topic. So I actually have a friend that's like, by his own words, he's actually really racist. And people ask me, it's like, why are you friends with him? And I don't want to say studying, but like observing different types of people fascinates me, and we actually get along on different things. And the one thing that I've noticed when it comes to narcissism, everyone has it to a degree.
Yes.
And I believe it comes from wanting to feel superior to others. Yeah. And that's I believe where his racism comes from. He feels inferior in a lot of things from getting to know him. So he feels just by bringing this up, because he's white skinned, like it makes him feel superior. It makes him feel good. And I have that when it comes to, I feel like I'm smarter than people, and he pointed that out. And that's kind of what I feel when it comes to Gina Carano. Her face, what she does, it's like she has like a smug look to her. So when she does these tweets, the people that get offended, it's like they kind of feel like she feels like she's better than me, and like that's kind of like the essence I get from her, and that's kind of basically what I wanted also to see Lucifer's thought on that, but that's kind of what I feel what she's doing every time she comments, and like she likes to trigger people because it makes her feel good. And I've done it when I try to talk down on people and intellectually use higher words, and I look at them and it makes me feel good. But and there's like different degrees of it.
What do you think
there is a lot of truth to what you are saying there, Ezekiel. You're absolutely right. All of us, we have that tiny bit of narcissism. It comes back to the ego. We all need ego to survive, and that's where the narcissism comes from. And like I said earlier, narcissistic personality disorder or having narcissistic traits, that depends on whether your ego is healthy or unhealthy. Now, I think it's really interesting that you brought up this guy that you know who's racist, because with narcissism, it's not necessarily a want to feel superior to other people. It's that belief that you are, believing that you are better than everyone else, that you are the one, for want of a better phrasing. I often find when you look at people who are racist, racism, not all the time, but a majority of the time, is actually a symptom of a larger problem. Like one person that gets brought up so many times whenever we discuss racism is H.P. Lovecraft. It's well documented that he was a racist. Now, what isn't well documented, but there is evidence to show this, is the fact that before he started taking on racist views, he had a very abusive mother that he spent many, many of his years with. And then after she died, he was still racist, but he was open to communication with other people who weren't racist. And before he died, he actually denounced racism completely and recognized that it was a real shitty view to have just to start off with, but that it was also something that was covering up a bigger problem. It's very natural for people to have a problem in their life, and when they think, I don't know how to solve this, I've explored every avenue, and each one of those avenues leads to a dead end, we end up looking at other things and going, well, hold on, if I concentrate on this, maybe that will make up for the problem that I have over here. And when it comes to narcissists, when they do that, more often than not, it's because they don't feel that they've got that belief in them that says, I am better than everyone else. But they know deep down inside that they're not perfect at everything. They're not great at everything. So they try to just cover up those weaknesses by going, I'm going to put on a mask and say, hey, look, I'm a saint. I'm a wonderful person, because saving the world, my God, that is so sexy. It's such a sexy thing to save the world, but actually doing it and it being effective, that's a different story. But if you can make it look like you're saving the world, that's good enough in a narcissist's eyes. And it's part of the reason why, I don't know if you guys have it in other countries, but there's this saying, monsters don't get close to children, nice old men do.
Yep. No, you, dude, did you come out of a fucking Quentin Tarantino movie or something?
I know. It's like, well, look, to be fair, Lucifer.
No, because you're 100% correct. The only thing I have to disagree with Ezekiel on, and I apologize, is if you would have said Krystina, yes, but Gina has shown to me more so that she's not as narcissistic as most people in Hollywood are.
I agree.
And what has happened is her tweets have been taken completely out of context, and people are trying to project more into them. And in fact, she has withdrawn more the more attention she has gotten, if anything. But no, like I do, yeah, dude, where did you come from?
I definitely agree with Midnight Edge there. She's withdrawn, but then she's gone to Drunk 3PO. She went to a nobody's channel to give an exclusive interview about her. No, he boosted him, but she went to someone who had no view, was a very minimal audience, and went to him because she saw him as a genuine person who wanted to know her opinion on something. And so to me, that shows me that she cares more about a genuine person interviewing
or
her
she just has the hots for him and wants to do it.
That too, man. He is the sexiest man on the web, according to many people. So
no, I agree with Paul though. He's right. It shows a lot of her character there.
Totally,
how
I
she's
agree.
handled this entire thing.
She could be on a million streams and make this all about her and play up the victim card. She doesn't do any of it. I mean. She's I could say she's cool, and I think she's doing it right. I don't sense that from her. She's just doing herself, and I think she really does want to look out for people, their mental health with social media, etc. Good for her. She's strong inside and outside, it seems, given what she's doing. So
she's an MMA fighter.
Yeah, exactly. she's done it. Thank you, Ezekiel, for the comment.
Yeah.
She also did go and talk with the Federalists too.
I have a family member visiting that I haven't seen in a year.
Yeah,
I wish I could talk more maybe next time.
Call in next time. We're here every Thursday. I'd love to have any of you back. So good to talk to you. Thank you, Ezekiel.
Ezekiel.
Thank you.
And Lucifer, yeah, I mean, you're people MVP of the show. To be fair, Lucifer literally just messaged me, but his comments were so amazing. I was like, dude, I hope you'll comment. He's like, well, it's
hook
late.
up with me on Twitter, dude.
Yeah, I was just,
absolutely.
Hit me up. I'll spread it around. Give me, but I want to do more, and I
man.
appreciate. But I love your thoughts. It's where is just so people know. Give us your background. Are you just a crazy person just spouting out what you think? Do you have any actual background in any of this stuff to give us a little bit?
Well, he gave us a little bit, but yeah, I'm so yeah.
Give us a little bit more, yeah.
I do have a bit of a background in it because, like I said, I have a parent with narcissistic personality disorder, and it took me many decades before I realized that was the case. And throughout all that time, I was getting a lot of emotional abuse, a lot of psychological abuse, not really recognizing it, just thinking that there was a problem with me. And it took me going to a therapist and a counselor and saying, hey, look, I need someone to talk to. I need some sort of support group here, throwing some money at them and talking to them, and then kind of opening my eyes to it. And because of that, and because of what I do, I mean, I spent many years jumping from shitty job to shitty job. And then one day, it was actually shortly after my father died, I decided, you know what, life's too short to be doing that. What do I actually want to do? I wanted to tell stories through comic books. So I started doing that, going to the therapy, going to the counseling, and I always wanted my characters to be as real as possible. So going to counseling and therapy, it just made me go, okay, I'm kind of interested in psychology now. So I started learning about narcissistic personality disorder, learning about some other mental disorders and stuff, and how different types of abuse affect people, and how the psychology of abusers themselves as well. So I guess that's my background roughly.
And here he is. Here's his Twitter. People want to follow him. That's the best place to find you, just so I give you a plug because people are impressed. But go check out the Lucifer Storm on Twitter. Get him up there. Dude, I love your thoughts. Please come back. I know it's late for you, but I hope since you're a fan, let's do it again. Get you on there.
Anytime.
I appreciate it.
You want me on.
Pablo, you there too?
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
What's up, man? We got a couple left in the chat, so I'll get through them quickly as we wrap up soon. Thank you, everybody who stuck around. If you want any final questions, send them over through the pinned comment or calling quickly. But go ahead, Pablo, real fast.
Thank you very much. First of all, Lucifer, I love you. Second of all, Tom, I think I was in a stream previously with you. And Rob, a pleasure to meet you. I have been on your chat a lot. Okay.
It's always good when you can talk to the fans, isn't it? I love when we do this portion. Yeah.
Pablo, I love you too, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Pablo. What's up? We love you.
Thank you very much. And okay, I'm from Latin America. I'm from Ecuador. So I have seen another side from this, and that is that all this fighting inside of Lucasfilm, inside of the art they produce, and the way they communicate with the people, have actually affected in other ways fandoms from another places. For instance, I was on the Star Wars fan club Quito. We were actually a happy community. We had a lot of political differences, but that was not important. We were there for Star Wars. We did a lot of cosplaying for kids with cancer, with disabilities. And, that was the great part of that fandom. We were connected with another side of liking things. It was not only we like this, it was we use this for greater good. Okay? And then Disney started to see a lot of division, started to actually make statements on the official blog that in my specific case were used legally against me, because they said, quoting a lot of tweets from Pablo Hidalgo, that the backlash was from incels in the Star Wars blog. This was on 2018. And that, together with a photo where I was in full cosplay with children with disabilities, was used in court to demonstrate that I was unable to take care of my son because I was an incel. And that I have tweeted to the Star Wars handle to say them, if you want, you can have my case to see what you are doing, because what you are setting on stone is harming your fans, and then your fans are supposed to be pleased by that. Are we supposed to be happy about the things you say about us? I'm half Jew, and people have told me that I'm a Nazi for liking Star Wars. Do you know how hard is that for someone internationally? And now, yeah, you have a woman that will be on a podcast from the Lucasfilm company. Okay. She's saying something that is harmful for people that do not know the context, and that's maybe the major thing here. She says all the white people, or only the white people. Okay, white people in general, like when you come to Ecuador, to Quito, and someone tells you that Americans are terrible because someone cheated here, whatever. You're no, man. Have you ever talked properly to someone from the United States, from Canada? Have you ever tried to actually see that people beyond the ones that you have currently have some disagreement? You cannot generalize anyone. You cannot do that by any context. You have to, if you are calling out someone and you don't want to be all direct, well, at least be a bit more specific on your passive aggressivity. At least be a little more contextual, because this kind of stuff will go to another countries that have absolutely no knowledge of what's going on the United States. Or maybe we have a distorted view because we only have news translated from CNN, from CNBC, from whatever. And we will see only a political side of what's going on in the United States, and then someone from the official Star Wars handle says, you know what? All these people are bullying. No, maybe not. Maybe like me, we are telling, hey, we have commented good things on Gina Carano's Twitter, and some people have attacked us on that tweets because they want Gina Carano fired. And I have shown the screen caps of this. I have been insulted because I have said good things about Gina Carano. I have been attacked for liking old Star Wars and not current Star Wars. And this is something that the official Twitter handle for Star Wars is promoting. So what do I take from that? I'm also an indesirable. I have little to do with the United States, and I'm as Aryan as, I don't know, a scalp. I have nothing to do with white people. I'm half Otavalo, half Jew. But I'm bad too because I love what I love, and I spend time with the people I spend time, and it's like, calm down.
Yeah,
you don't need to go that far. You don't need to go and belittle people on the official Twitter handle by proxy, because you are saying whatever is said about this person in particular is bullying. Is it?
No, it is. Look, they as we said, and I thank you for sharing the story, Pablo. It isn't right that they're single picking, cherry picking who's being bullied and who to protect and who not to. I think it's wrong. And thank you for sharing that story and knowing that even people out where you're at are still, it's true. Outside of America, when you're labeled racist and a Nazi, it can have even different kind of connotations. So thank you for giving that perspective. And I'm with you. That's why we're having the conversation. It's frustrating. Hypocrisy anywhere frustrates me, but Disney's hypocrisy is getting so blatantly out of hand that why do they even start this fight? Just like, why defend it? Just support her, keep her there, reassure her, and move on. It feels like they've made it a bigger issue by addressing it and just sort of pointing out the hypocrisies. But Pablo, thank you. I got to get through some others, but I appreciate you for calling in. Call back another time. Appreciate you sharing the story, man.
See you soon, everyone.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
But yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to bring that part up. You expanded it to Disney, and it's not just Lucasfilm. It is Disney too. You can look at Mulan and all the stuff that's going on with the end credits.
Where they totally shot in that ridiculous place. What's it, the entrapment camps when they were shooting
next to an internment camp.
Yeah, the Disney is notorious for doing awful things to save money and whatever they need to do. But to say they're against, we're against racism. No, it depends if it's making any money or not.
Well, but if I understood Geek Tropology's story correctly, if I understood it correctly, it's kind of supporting what John's story is saying, really, though. I mean, again, I hope I'm understanding it correctly, but yeah, that was Thank you for sharing that, by the way, Geek Tropology. I know he's a listener to our channels. So
Yeah, it seemed I got the same vibe that he is. It sounds like his John's reporting affect him. He agrees with it. David March, sorry made you wait so long. I see you there.
Oh, that's okay.
Sir, how's it
I
going?
was stuck in my Cthulhu game for most of the night. So.
Good. David's been trying to get us together, Tom, for a long time, so I'm sure it's made him happy tonight. He's a big investor in our channel.
Meet you.
Yeah.
I did.
So
not
is
even
Andre
know this was
actually a real
happening.
person, or is he really a robot?
I'm not allowed to say.
Okay.
Andre is an aspiring Bond villain. That's what he is.
Okay.
Just don't get on his bad side.
I have spoken to him now, and
Place
yeah.
for
So
the
he's
box, like
there's
Dr. Claw.
could be a bot. Who knows? But good to see you, Dave. What's up, man? Got a question for us? Now that it's
Well,
happening,
like,
it's here. It's happening.
Yeah, I can say a few things. The problem the previous caller doesn't realize is that as a Canadian, I'm a little bit closer than him to what's going on. He doesn't realize that most Americans don't realize there's any other countries on the planet.
That's very true.
And when they tweet out
so
their
true.
nonsense out into the world, they don't actually realize that other countries don't have the same experience they have. Like a different culture. I once had a friend of mine say to me something like, I said something about the Ku Klux Klan and how they hated Catholics, right? And she's like, whoa. Are you trying to tell me that one group of white people hate another group of white people more than they hated black people? And I'm like, what do you think World War II was about? Like, that's a major problem. But I think a lot of the stuff that happens on Twitter with this girl who is tweeting out her nonsense, and it's like the cancel culture is just this. When they try to cancel you, you don't apologize. You just tell them to go fuck themselves. It's really, that's the problem. Is like that old Dennis Leary skit is that, remember he was the psychiatrist. People came in and said, Dr. Dennis Leary says, shut the fuck up, and he's like, he told me to shut the fuck up, and I've never been told that before. And I'm now so much better. That's the problem with so many people from the Jonathan hate book. These people have never been told anything.
Well, basically, what you're saying is what Lucifer was explaining, but on a global or on a national level, at least not global.
Yeah,
yeah, and we do. Americans have a hard time, a very huge narcissism problem as a whole.
I've been very fortunate. I've been able to travel outside of the country, and like you said, you really do learn a lot by traveling. And as Louis Black said, when you return home, you see your own country with new eyes. And you were saying about how, so it was unthinkable to someone else that white people could do horrible things to other white people. I always bring up this story about my father during Second World War, banging on the church door saying, "Father, let me in. If the Germans catch me, they're going to shoot me." I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's not just endemic. People oppress people. That it's been happening for centuries.
That's only a third of that story, by the way. But anyway.
Well, just Andy wants to wrap
for the
up,
short
so.
version.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's just put it this way: the church didn't open up.
No, the priest said to him, "If the Germans find out I let you in here, they're going to shoot me."
Yeah.
And he was kind of.
But it was
soured
the
on
U.S. Marines that actually took him in, and that's why he
Yeah.
came to America. I mean, and so Rob is first generation American, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. There's the the Americans, the Fourth Army liberated Italy, General Mark Clark, and he was
not one of my favorite people.
Yeah, and they were there in the camp, and he was one of the GIs dropped a pack of crackers, and he went fishing around underneath the Jeep. And they were screaming, "Look out! He's trying to plant a bomb." He goes, "No, the kid's hungry. Get him something to eat." And he said they brought him to the mess hall, and that was the first time he ever had bacon and eggs. And my mother always had to have, because they always fed him, the army fed him, my mother always had to have Spam in the house. So that's that story. That's all I got to say about that. So
Peas and carrots, Jenny. Sorry, that sounded like Forrest Gump.
Up until the 1970s, I grew up in a place called Westdale, which surrounds McMaster. It's like a college town that surrounds McMaster University. My father taught there. He started teaching there in the late mid 60s. He could not own a house in Westdale until the late 1970s, and that's the house I grew up in, because he was a Polish person. He could not live in a house near where he worked. And he was the first Canadian professor in his department at that university. And that was 40 years ago. And look at me. Everyone would assume I'm just a white guy.
Yeah. Somebody one time, I can't remember who it was, but somebody tried pulling saying about how you know something about racist, and he said my father came here to America in 1952, so so don't give me this nothing about the race, white people and the American Indians, whatever. So unless there was a cowboy named Salvatore Six Gun Del Vecchio, I didn't have anything to do with it. Well, then they said the Roman Empire. I'm like, the Roman Empire enslaved everyone, and when you were conquered by the empire, you benefited too. A lot of times.
Anybody that learns ancient history, and they should learn it, knows that every country has conquered another country at some point. This is the facts of the world. Everyone has had their land stolen. Every people group has had something happen to them. It's just recent history that people are more interested in because it affects them more. That's all it is.
I think Dave Chappelle has a skit about that.
The Romans. What have the Romans ever done for us?
I know, right?
Aqueducts.
All right, the aqueduct.
Roads.
And the roads.
All right, aqueduct and the roads. And security and running water. What have they ever done for us?
Anyways, it's late. And I'll let you go then.
Thank you for the love, David. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, David, I just want to make sure I gave you time to speak to us while we're all here, because look, I've been a fan of them, but you helped me see even more, and then Jeff connected us and Jesse.
Hopefully we can get these guys on Nerd Wars, because I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, when Nerd Wars comes back, it'd be fun to have you.
Wants to fight these guys.
Dude, hopefully we'll make it happen. Happy to help. But David, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here as we wrap up. Plug your channel, David.
Oh, I'm the Spy Guy on YouTube.
Check him out.
I want to thank Jen McMahon for becoming my latest subscriber.
Woo!
Okay.
Love it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, brother. Talk soon.
Take care, David.
All right, as we wind things down, because it's 1 a.m. here. It's way late. Where are you? It's way late for you, Tom. Right? Where?
Well, that's relative. Actually, I'm an hour behind you, I think. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's central, right?
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm central. Rob is Eastern, and I think John might be.
Yeah, I'm Eastern.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we're not. You're. Oh, so you're as late as me, John. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys. I think this was a good. I like conversations. It got a little heated at points, but you guys weren't afraid of that, so I appreciate that as well. If we can't have conversations, then we're in trouble. Is my point. I want to go around though and thank everybody. If you have a last thought for anybody on the panel, now's your chance. Send it on over quickly. But it looks like we got through the calls, and I stopped sending it out. Paul, go ahead. You go first, Paul. Anything you want to plug your channel?
Yeah, I plug my channel, Intelligent Helix, on YouTube, and I want to say to Midnight's Edge, STD sucks, and I want it to die. I hope it's close.
Good man.
Yeah, you got our vote. Thanks for having us. It's been
really Tom, fun. Rob, go ahead. Anything you want to say or end on?
I just want to thank Jeff for hooking us up and making sure we were able to communicate, and then of course, the fan that we just had in here. It was cool to meet him, and I didn't even know there was this movement to have us brought together, but here we go. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have to work something out to have you over on Midnight's Edge real soon here. And yeah, I mean, of course I watched your stuff back in the day. I just never thought you'd watch our stuff. So that's
yeah, dude,
cool.
you guys are killing it. Good congrats on all your success and your streams. Happy to help, and I'm glad you came in, man. Thanks for coming, both of you. Rob, anything you want to
add? You can't have eggs, bacon, sausage, and spam without the spam.
I always think of
spam.
Yeah, I was gonna say spam. John, I'm gonna end on you, Lucifer. So hold on, John. Let's go with you next from Bounding from Comics. Thanks for stepping in. You took some haters on here. You said what you said. I like that we can agree to disagree. Anything else you want to say or plug there?
Yeah, just follow us on Bounding into Comics. Sign up for our newsletter. We put one out every weekday. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I put up a video every weekday as well. So we're always putting up stuff on the website, except for Sundays. That's the Lord's Day.
Like Chick-fil-A.
Exactly.
Chick-fil-A stays closed too. Lucifer, I'm going full screen on you, my man. And let's. How do we end this with some wise words with your eternal coolness? I loved how everyone's like, of course he's smoking too. Anything you want to add here, sir?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on, Andy. This is an absolute pleasure. As I said to you earlier, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you, man.
And it's awesome to be here with Midnight's Edge and John and everyone else. You are all awesome people. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because if they do, I'm going to have to sit down and have a conversation with them and explain to them why I respectfully disagree with them. Can we get back to respectfully disagreeing rather than just arguing? Because here's the thing that it just boggles my mind. When two sides are arguing like this, blah, 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 who's listening? No one.
Yeah,
And
you tune out.
Yeah. We should do that a little bit more. Just take time to listen.
Well said, man. It's what I try to turn this channel into, and you say it so much better than I do. But it's true. Like if we can't, I even wrote it down. Like we have to respectfully disagree. It's a thing that not enough people have learned to do, and I think even tonight there were people in here trying to get at John, and clearly John wasn't having it, and they weren't having it. But it's like at a certain point, you're not going to change each other's minds, right? That's the reality of the world we live in,
look,
Lucifer. You know that as the devil.
You don't get an open mind by kicking people in the head. That's just fact.
Very
so
true.
why do we keep doing it?
I don't know, man. And then now that I've had all of you on, I'm now going to be labeled things that people just don't. That's their problem. It's not. They don't just disagree.
I apologize for that.
It's fine. I've made my bed, but it's not even just the they don't disagree. I think just to wrap up where we're at the whole conversation is just this labeling of people that want to hear both sides or talk to the other side. Why do we keep assuming the other side is the enemy, right? That's where I think things fall apart in our society. And it's this Gina Carano, everything that's happening with the Star Wars fandom right now. Look, I do want to say, like, I don't want to ignore it because someone else had sent me this. Like, I do not encourage or support the things they sent Krystina. Like,
neither do I. I condemn this, and I wrote an article about it.
Like, it should be said, like, she had awful stuff sent to her. Like, and anybody who's watching who's like agreeing with us and up to this point, but you're like you partook in anything like this, F you, because this is awful. It goes both ways, and I think everybody here agrees. Of course, this is awful, but this happens to Gina also. And so the reality is that's what we talked about. I wasn't trying to negate what happened to Krystina because she was bullied and harassed. Let's be fair. I didn't want to seem like I didn't admit that. She absolutely was. There's a lot of awfulness that was out there, but it's going everywhere. And Star Wars, you can't just pick one and not the other. To be fair, I just knocked on my wooden table. They haven't canned her yet, so I hope Gina's okay. I'm going to keep supporting her as long as we can. If they lose her, man, that last question, does anyone think they will fire her? Do you think it's even possible at this point? I mean, she'd have to do something
Gina?
really bad.
I don't think so.
Fire Gina?
Yeah, I mean, she'd have to do something blatantly
she's going to be in
bad.
Rangers of the New Republic.
If she's not in that show, then they'll write her out of Mando. That's what I think will happen.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, do you think, because there must be people there who want to based off her seemingly political beliefs.
I think the people that want to aren't powerful enough, or at least at this point don't have enough sway to do anything about it. And because the rumor going around in quotations, again, take with a grain of salt, is that she's being gunned for by the bigwigs, but Jon Favreau's protecting her. I don't believe that. I don't think that anybody above it has any care about any of this stuff, because Gina sells toys. Gina's very popular. She has skyrocketed to the top almost of the charts as far as popular searches on IMDb and stuff like that. I mean, she has come out of nowhere of being this MMA fighter turned, character actor basically, and like Deadpool and a few things, to a star. I mean, she's now a superstar basically, and she's one of the biggest things to come out of The Mandalorian. There's no way.
Yeah, my daughter is like, it's her favorite character. She's, so it's like there's a lot of kids and other people who have no idea what's going on Twitter that don't care about any of it, right? So, but so you're all the same school. You don't think they can? I mean, she'd have to do something really fucking stupid, I feel like, for them to be able to even have the ammo.
She would
to
basically
do it.
have to do something like this, which is sad, and that's what really is stupid, and that's where the double standard comes in. Is because we see these few tweets that Krystina got, and I'm not trying to diminutize her getting these in any way, but she's got 4 tweets here. We've got months. There's 7. Okay, we've got months worth of tweets on Gina, and you could just go to shit. She had 7 this morning, probably. You could go beyond that. That's what I'm saying. Like, they claim there's a lot of this stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not denying it. And a lot of these people, I don't know who these people are because she's covering up their names, which, okay, fine, good. But I don't recognize the icons. I don't know any of these people. Right. And I don't want to be associated with them. Just like John said, we totally do not. In fact, we go out of our way to say, do not contact these people. Do not attack them. Yep. You want to let Disney know how you feel. You can say, I like this, or buy, the product that you like, and ignore the thing you don't like. So there you go.
I was going to
That's
say,
my feeling
Jay-
on it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
just
well
the
said.
other day
Well,
that- well, Gina's like the most popular toy. She's like selling out. The Kara is like selling out everywhere.
Well,
So
there
it's
was an
like-
Australian version of her figure that was selling like hotcakes on eBay because it was better than the one we had over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's the most popular toy. And when we talk about merchandising with Star Wars, it was always about toys. And now people are buying, Grogu and Mando and Kara. They're buying all these Mando toys now. It's like selling like hotcakes, and she's the most popular. So I doubt they're going to cancel her.
I hope not. But it's good to hear everyone, other people feeling confident. And I hope she is. If she's not, I hope she privately lets some of us know so we can help kick it up a notch. Because look, if Star Wars is going to react like this based off of some hate, she's gotten way too much. So I hope that's enough for them to realize they can't. Or
honestly, I think if she was even close to being fired, she wouldn't have went on Drunk 3PO's channel.
Right? I got that vibe too. It's like why risk it? You know what I mean? Like why put yourself out there and say things if
She also
there's
went
any
on the
risk?
Federalist, which no one seems to realize. But yeah,
I didn't even know that. See, John, you brought that to my attention. See.
yeah, she did like a whole podcast with them. I haven't had the time to listen to it, but I know she did that.
Well, and Jay did say she is going to systematically reach out to certain podcasts and other things that she has an idea of people that she wants to talk to, and that's her prerogative. And to me, that doesn't sound like she's being influenced in any way by anybody else and or under the gun of being fired.
Right.
In any way. So.
And like she's there's a thing started that she's going to appear on a charity stream with Star Wars Theory and Jay and a bunch of other people, so to raise money for kids. So she's
It's a good move on her part.
capacity. Yeah, she is.
It's a good move.
She's
That's how the Snyder
going hard.
Snyder fans justified for a long time. They always used that. But
Well, I could even jump one farther, not to drag this out. Sorry, Andy, but I
no,
can say,
I could talk all day. I feel bad keeping you on here, but you guys go long.
No,
Yeah, what
I'm
am I worried
fine.
about? Yeah, go ahead.
I got other work to do, but I'll get it done. But no, like, like I see this almost like you can almost look at, and I'm not saying that this is, but if Gina was like the arbiter of kind of like the goodwill to the fans, she's doing a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, getting the old fans back on board, especially like, being the whole Drunk 3PO thing and how that created a bridge between, the fandom menace directly and, the show that she's on and how it's kind of showing this, like, look, we're listening. We do care. We want to right the ship. Don't listening to these screaming people on the other side who are just pissed that their Star Wars is not popular. And that's the other big thing that Rob and I always point out is that the Star Wars they kept pushing wasn't selling. And that's the one thing they don't want to notice. And, it goes all the way back to Ghostbusters. It's like, yeah, great. You want to get behind this cause and pretend like Ghostbusters is some big deal. But where were you when it was in the movie theater? You didn't go see it.
Well, because it
You didn't buy
sucked.
it
It
on
had
Blu-ray.
nothing to do with females. It sucked.
Exactly.
It wasn't funny. God damn, I hate
Exactly my
people
point,
complaining
Andy.
about that.
Thank you.
Ugh,
Exactly.
Such a
That's my
shitty
point.
movie.
Exactly.
Ugh. See, now you triggered me bringing up the Ghostbusters. I remember when we did the honest trailers for Ghostbusters. I remember we were like, we're just turning off the fucking comments. Fuck them. Because it's like,
shit.
I didn't even want that audience to be, yeah, this is stupid. It's like, no, it's not. Let's talk about how shitty the movie is, not that they just, I mean, also they
And I
disrespected.
applaud you for that.
They
'Cause
disrespected.
There was not many outlets at that upper echelon that had the balls to do that. It was like very few critics.
It's like, fuck you.
Richard Roper was one of the few that actually just came out and said, no, this is crap.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of people who tried to cover it.
It's
No,
like, fuck
I
your
was
cause. It's a shit movie.
No, the
Yeah.
covering was like, oh, if you don't like this, you're a misogynist, and it's the same thing they tried to cover with the Phantom, with Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi. It's the same argument they made, exactly the same. You don't like this because it's a strong female character. I'm like, you know what a strong female character is? Ripley. That's a strong female character. Because you can follow her arc. You see her go from this
Sarah
minor
Connor. There's a
to
lot of them, dude.
badass warrior that beats aliens. Like, you see the arc. Rey had no arc. These characters had no arc. This is the criticism.
Oh,
of
don't
these
go there.
movies.
Don't start. We'll be here all night.
Yeah, we will be here all night with that. But no.
I think we'll all agree, but
Yeah,
mostly.
it's like it's not going to make me a misogynist to criticize a character for no character development. This is the fundamental thing of a movie, to have a story arc of a character, and they had none. So like you can't be a misogynist for criticizing that, no matter what the gender is.
I always say, see this first issue GI Joe Scarlet.
Oh yeah,
woman in a combat role in a command position.
She's a badass.
Okay, so don't tell me men don't like strong female characters. Okay,
Underworld.
Yeah,
Facts.
And the same movement is the same movement that turned around and decided to make Sarah Connor one of the best mothers in cinema history.
Yep.
I would argue next to Mrs. Voorhees, because those are the only two moms I can think about that would kill for your ass.
It's true.
They turned her into complete failure within the first 2 minutes of their strong feminist movie by killing John Connor. Spoilers, but no, none needed.
No, don't watch that movie. No one should watch that film.
It's real bad. It's real bad.
They don't even understand their own cause, I think, sometimes. I mean, Captain Marvel's another great example. It's like, do you really understand the message you're trying to promote here? Because if you did, I don't think you realize that this whole time, what's his face, her trainer, what's his name, Rob?
Jan Rog.
Yeah, Jan Rog.
Yeah.
He's basically right. And what she should have done is at the end and say, you know what? No, I don't need my powers to kick your ass, and kicked his ass without her powers to prove the point. That would show that she's a more stronger character. Because, he is right. There could be a time, guess what, Captain Marvel? You're the bestest ever, but you might not have your powers. And guess what are you going to do then? Sit there and whine and cry and hope that somebody doesn't hit you?
I don't need to prove anything to you.
Exactly. I think that movie lost the complete message of what it's trying to portray. And the same thing with Star Wars. It's like, if you make Rey perfect from the start, how can anybody relate to that?
Yeah, that's the thing with movies. You're so real, like it's so true. With movies, you like it doesn't matter what like the character is. It doesn't matter for me the gender or the race or whatever. You want to see the humanity in that character because it appeals to you. You can see the growth, and it's like it gets you in that mindset. It completely takes you out when this person has nothing to grow. There's no learning to be done. They're not human. Because humans always fail. We learn from our mistakes, but there's no mistakes made. She knows how to fix the Millennium Falcon faster than Han Solo. There's no mistakes from her at all, ever. So it's
not she only not only that, she fixed all the white man's mistakes. Exactly.
How did you learn to do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I still like the best is when she ends the movie with just grabbing the lightsaber and what's your name, Ray? No, your last. She basically just going Rey Star Wars. It's like it's so so bad.
You stole Luke's name. You stole his victory. You stole his boyhood home. His boyhood fucking home. Rendered.
Then the other thing, she buries Leia's lightsaber on Tatooine. Leia never went to Tatooine. She has no connection to that planet.
Zero.
Actually,
no, wait, you're wrong. The only time
Jabba.
she was there, was when she was enslaved by Jabba.
Oh, right. That was, shit.
It's a good connection to that planet.
There's nothing to see. I used to live here. You're going to die here, kid. Pretty convenient.
And it's anyway, but it's like, and then anyway, I was the whole Trevorrow thing and what they could have done and how Catholic. Oh my God, we could go on for hours. But it's been done to death. I think the karma is hitting them though. The karma's finally hitting it. Disney realizing shit, we really effed that up. Fans don't want to buy these toys. That's where you get Disney the most is when they don't want to buy the toys, and they don't want to buy the toys. That's what tells you.
Go to Walmart and take a look at the Star Wars section of the toy aisle.
Dude,
it's
all
barren.
old Rise, and it's all or it's just Rise of Skywalker at the 99-cent store because they couldn't sell them at the Targets.
Yeah, there's only Empire stuff at the Walmart.
I saw Kylo Ren's at. Do you guys know what's it called? It's called Five. No, it's called Five Below. Five Below has all these like Star Wars toys, like the Kylo and Rey. And it's like what? The fact
what those are, folks? Those are liquidator stores, basically.
Yes. They couldn't sell them, so they put them there, and to see like the full, like real good Star Wars figures there, it's amazing.
Yeah, there was a Star Wars, little bitty Star Wars section, and then actually they had a reissue GI Joe Cobra Hiss tank.
That sounds cool.
At my Walmart. I was like,
G.I. Joe section.
I just got the
Jurassic Park section, the Godzilla section.
You're talking about G.I. Joe so much. I just got that game for the Switch, and I'm having a blast. Even though it's not perfect, it's as a G.I. Joe fan, it's still a little fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
to blast.
But all those sections are so much bigger than Star Wars, and you're right. Everything that is there is revised Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary toys and Baby Yoda.
Tons of baby, and they don't have any Mandalorian toys. There's no Cara Dune. There's no Mandal. I can't even
they're
find
all sold out.
It's like, hello, where are your Mandalorian toys? I'd be buying them more. I had to buy this stupid. What the fuck is this? I just bought it because why is he so small? Like, what the fuck is this? The only Mandalorian toy I can get is some new small little baby thing. It's like, how am I supposed to put that against my other damn toys? It's like, hello, look at this. That is freaking ridiculous.
Captain America doesn't need his mighty shield. He can just throw Mando now.
Sanities.
No, it's the same here. They're front and center. Like going to our version of GameStop here, which is EV Games. You go in there. The front and center is Mandalorian. They've got like the Black Series, all that stuff. There's like nothing of the sequel trilogy that I've seen.
Well, it's also been a while, but yeah, no one wants to buy it. No one cares.
They didn't have one.
Yeah, if it was successful, they would be producing the toys to sell it because people would be buying them. But no one's buying that first run of the toys. No one cares.
And people used to
about these characters.
Guys, I remember because at the Screen Junkies days when it was Force Friday, like, dude, that's Force Awakens and even the Last Jedi one. Those were big deals, right? When the toys came out, and people were just buying the toys just because they thought, oh, we got to have all these toys.
Well, Andy, this is the first of how many Star Wars movies? Because we have the 9 in the series plus the two ancillary ones, right?
Yep.
So that's 11 movies. This is the first time in 11 films they did not have a 3 3/4 inch series directly connected to the film, ever.
Wow, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, nobody's been pointing that out because it's nobody even thought about it because nobody gave a crap.
Right.
Tom, what do I always
no
say
one was
about
demanding it.
What do I always say about kids when they get the toys? What do I always
They want
say?
to play with the scenes that are in the film, and then you want to expand on that. And like you said, Rob, you're 100% right. What is there to play in these movies? Nothing. What? You want to get the titty milk scene?
I want to do the scene where they're stuck in the dead snake, and they fall in the sand, and then they find an item that they don't even need, and then it has a dagger that tells them which mountain to go to.
Don't you want to replay the scene in the Casino Planet where we learn that capitalism is bad?
Yeah, and we ride those big
Rob always likes
rabbit
pointing
things.
out is the slow motion speeding chase. I mean, the kids I think would after a while go, man, this is boring. Let's play OJ instead. Yeah, at least that was more exciting. It's
I want Mop Boy. Right, exactly. Come on, there's so much to play for.
The OJ chase was even more exhilarating than this shit.
I want washed up Luke on the cave who doesn't want to fight anything. I totally want to play that scene out with Ray.
You get the
away. I don't want go away.
Leave it in the water. You can get that horse dog creature, and then you can take the saddle off and go, that's the real meaning that we're here now. They're free, and you can just put it up to the side and not play with it because it's a free horse being now isn't under racing.
How many horse toys did they sell? I'd love to know.
Oh my god, probably nothing. No one cares.
Yeah, Tom actually did a parody of what if Ryan Johnson wrote The Karate Kid.
I don't know. Can I share that?
Where is that? I want to see
all
that.
the expectations.
I might be able to share. I've never shared anything on
Johnny wins at the end because it's subverting the expectations.
You mean can you share? Oh, you mean like can you share on here? Yeah, just hit the share button. I think I have to
Share
turn off my
screen.
share. Hold on. Let me go to mine. Share screen.
You know, people actually during my review of Into the Spider-Verse, people got pissed off when I put the scene of Luke drinking the titty milk and Peter Parker, 40-year-old fat Peter Parker, eating a burger. I said, this is not a coincidence. This is the exact same scene for the exact same reason, to humiliate and bring down the hero, to humanize the hero. Look, your hero is old. He's fat. He's weak. He's not who you think he is. We have a new shiny hero for you to love.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you share it or no?
I'm getting there.
He's getting there.
Well, that's what they're doing. There's a systematic thing going on where they're destroying they're destroying original franchises and trying to like fight this idea of toxic masculinity. I'm waiting for them to come for Predator. Like I'm waiting them to come for these 80s films.
I'm surprised they haven't got for Predator already.
I'm so surprised they haven't gone for like a Rambo and Predator and these old school action like.
You think they're gonna do like Lady Rambo?
Did for Predator in that last one, but not quite. Like
that's true.
But the few people that did watch that review, like I said, they got so pissed off. It was like, it's the exact same fucking movie. It's the exact same scene. What are you talking about? Hey, oh, well, you're just totally like racist for like, you hate Miles Morales. I'm like, I hate Miles Morales, but what's on screen is what's on screen, Jack.
Now my whole window
Here we
just
go.
crashed on me.
Bummer.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, just let me know. You can
I'll get it
you can
eventually
bail.
here.
Oh, you got okay.
You know, I was keep relating the story though. When I was a kid, I used to get the Sears catalog, and you'd open it up to the Star Wars page, and you see all the cool stuff, the X-Wings, the Death Star playset, and the Millennium Falcon. Then you dream on Christmas morning that your very own Millennium Falcon or X-Wing or whatever was under the tree, and you just, oh man, I'm gonna have such fun. I never got any of that shit, but still.
For me, it was the Enterprise D, but I'm a Trekkie. So.
Yeah, I'm a Trekkie. I love Star Trek too. Yeah.
I mean, I remember I was my fourth I think I was 4 years old. My Christmas, they got me like the Enterprise D, and it had like the light up and the photon sounds and the phaser sounds, and I played with that thing for years. I love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Broba Fett just reminded me. I gotta get back into them, but I started doing woke trailers. No one promoted them, and it was a lot of work, and I didn't get any attention. But I'll have to send them to you guys. Maybe we can watch them someday, maybe on a stream. I think you would enjoy them. We did a woke Die Hard. We did woke Back to the Future. Where I got the OG honest trailer voice to really to cancel them all.
You gotta tease that. You gotta give us more info on that woke Die Hard.
I
have it. It's there. Go to YouTube. I'll show it to you right now.
Now I got to check that out after the show. Yeah.
The heroes, the media. The media guy?
Well, the first one, I changed. The format changed. Hold on, it's really quick. While he's looking for that, I'll play that. It's really
I'm sorry. My whole
no. Don't do
it.
Do what you need to do.
So I'm actually looking for it on another link that I posted it on.
I have to share.
I did a fake trailer for a CW show. That what if you took away all the Danny and Johnny scenes out of Cobra Kai? What would you be left with? Just Kung Fu High. It's just all teen drama, and he just duke it out in the hallways.
Oh, it
is what it is. It's what it's became.
Yeah, to be fair to it, season 1 was good. Season 2 for me got real CW. Season 3 they picked it up a little bit more. Sure. They got way better, and they got into the lore and the background of. That was a bit of a.
Here's the woke trailer, just while we're waiting for him to find it. Does it work?
Sorry about that.
No, I'm just entertaining.
Miguel and Samantha share their feelings, and when Robbie finds out,
it's Christmas Eve.
Into ass-kicking action.
It's the holidays in Los Angeles,
California,
and New York cop John McClane, and L.A. cop John McClane.
You can't see it?
I can't see it.
No, we can't
hold on.
see
I shared it.
I think you're playing it to the stream, but
hold on.
I'm not seeing it on the stream either.
Who did the?
Was
it Screen Junkies that did the have a doctor like evaluate?
That was
movie?
me. Yep.
Yes, that was good too.
John McClane is dead.
Honest
John
action.
McClane is dead. Yeah.
I just rewatched that with my kids. Our Home Alone one. They loved it. But yeah, we did that. We got the doctor.
I like the Home Alone one too. That was good.
It's Christmas Eve. It's the holidays in Los Angeles,
California,
and New York cop John McClane, and L.A. cop John McClane, and Minneapolis cop John McClane, and female cop Joan McClane, L.A. cop Al Powell.
I shot a kid.
Oh, jeez, like walking through a minefield. And Dr. John McClane has come to see his wife. Instead, he's going to have to save her. Instead, she's going to have to save him because she's a strong female character that doesn't need things mansplained to her.
I know exactly what your idea of our marriage should be.
Oh, getting ahead of this. Within this stereotypical Japanese skyscraper, in this tall, nondescript skyscraper high above the city, 12 German terrorists, 12 Chinese terrorists, 12 Mexican terrorists, 12 Muslim terrorists, 12 Russians have declared war from director John McTiernan. From a new female director and legendary action producer Joel Silver. Oh, jeez. From Kathleen Kennedy, Bruce Willis, Mark Wahlberg, Jimmy Fallon, Ruby Rose, the good cop from Family Matters.
I shot a kid.
Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, and Alan Rickman. Oh, thank God. Die Hard. Die Soft. Die Gently. Coming to theaters this summer.
good.
Coming to Disney Plus. Coming to all VOD platforms for $30.
Pretty accurate, no?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Pretty accurate. We did a few more. I mixed it up and did an actual like honest trailer style with the OG voice. So I'll send you those. You can watch them later. But
cool,
yeah, happy to share
I
those.
love his
They never.
world. Yeah.
The original boobs before John Bailey did it. The OG guy.
Boobs.
Did you find yours?
Yeah, I did it. You
Okay.
got to stop. Yeah, I
So
can't
there
share
you
it
go. If
without.
you share me yours, I'll share.
All right, let
You
me
show me.
see.
I showed you mine. Now you show me yours.
I'm trying.
Are we a little old to play that game?
I don't know if it'll share the audio though. That's what I'm worried about. But
Oh, it may not. You're right. Or if you send me the link, I can just
maybe.
see. Well, let me play this. Let me see if I hear it. No. Send me.
No.
It's also slow. If you send me the link in the private chat here, so stop saving.
Yeah.
Stop that, and then send me that Facebook link. Just go to the. You know how to do that, right? From Facebook. Put it in the chat here. There's a chat.
If it'll show up for you, but yeah.
And then, why is it like a member? I'm not a part of it.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if you're in Midnight's Edge, you should be able to see it. But
Can you approve me quick?
yeah, I can probably.
People don't do. The people seem to want to see and wait. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wish I could just send it to you via email. Probably be easier too.
Do you want my email? I'm not gonna give it to you. I'll give it to
Or
you.
actually, I can give you is
DM
I
it.
might even have it in. Might even have it in my Google Drive. To be honest with you.
I just DM'd you the email.
Yeah. Okay.
Or did you send the Facebook?
No, not yet. But I can just send you the file too. I'll send you the Facebook link though. You can try it.
There's that, or just put it through the DM. Whatever works. Andy, please do more. I know I should, right? We did better. I always work better with writers' room, and the problem is just finding enough people. But yeah, anybody out there who thinks they can handle those jokes and wants to help, hit me up because it's just, I always work better with Honest Trailers. Worked well when I had 3 of us in a room beating out which are the best jokes, you know. It's always better. So if any, that's that and the views sort of stop me, but I'll get back into it. There's something funny there.
Those are
I really like
amazing
the,
stuff, dude.
I like the Back to the Future one we did. It was woke one was funny, but yeah, no, Honest Trailers was good, man. I would have given up eventually. It's just beating a dead horse on that series by now, but. But we had some fun. We hit our stride when Ryan Reynolds showed up to do Deadpool. I was like, we're done. It's like,
No way you could top that.
How do you beat it? You know, I knew that was it was the beginning of the end. Although getting him for Logan was even cooler because I was like, oh shit, now he just showed up for another movie. Yeah, it's once you get that, you're sort of like, we've peaked.
All right. Well, I sent you the Facebook link, and I even sent you the.
Oh God. Okay. Here it is.
The file from Google Drive, so you should be able to download it for worst comes to worst.
Oh, there it is.
So then you can share it that
It's
way.
right here. It's right here. Okay, cool.
Because I have my whole computer crashed on me is what happened.
Would
so.
you teach me? Oh,
I love Windows.
So set this up again. This is if Ryan Johnson wrote Cobra Kai.
No, this is if Ryan Johnson did Karate Kid. But
Oh, Karate Kid. Sorry. Okay, yes. Here it is.
Would you teach me karate?
I don't believe in karate anymore.
Is it a video
Leave me
or
alone,
audio?
Daniel. Son.
Yeah, you didn't share the video again.
Oh,
but, yeah.
sorry.
He shared video.
So good. Sorry,
So I can't
Paul
see
just
it.
talked as I saw it. Here, let's do it again. They can see it on the show, but you guys, let me send it again. You should. It's the same share. You guys don't see it? Hold on. Share. That's really funny. All right, that's worth watching one more time. Here we go.
There we go.
All right, everybody, here we go.
Would you teach me karate?
I don't believe in karate anymore. Leave me alone, Daniel San. I want to die.
I mean, that's it. That was worth the wait. That was worth the wait.
Distinct. I mean, and to the point.
I want to die.
No more karate for me.
That kind of
Daniel
is
San.
Karate Kid 3 in a ways too, though. He does.
Sort of.
He kind of gives up on Daniel San in Karate Kid 3. Like, I will not teach you anymore. Please.
Not for tournament.
Yeah, no, you do not want to fight. And then suddenly he's like, okay, fine, now you fight, and you must murder him. It's real now.
Crease, real
Focus!
asshole. Now I will. Yeah.
Focus! I love how the advice at the end of Karate Kid 3 is, focus! And then it's like, oh, shit, I didn't think of that. You're right. Bah! Oh, Karate Kid 3 is a trip. Anyway, That was great. What a way to end on it. Well, good to have you all. Rob, Tom, good to finally meet you. Hope we can do some more together. Hit me up anytime.
Absolutely, man.
And then Lucifer, oh man, what a star. A star is born tonight. No, guys?
Oh, man, yeah.
It's been great to be here, guys. It's been absolutely awesome.
Yeah, likewise, man. John, thanks for being here. Paul as well. Thank you all for watching. That's it. If you haven't subscribed, come on, what are you doing? I'm just trying to make a living subscribing. I had 7 million subs. Can we get me to 200,000? That'd be nice. So go smash that sub. I appreciate all you guys who've been supporting and showed up. I had my back on Twitter last night. It meant a lot. We'll be back with more. I'm live. This Saturday was a fluke because of what happened. When someone tries to castrate me online, I do an emergency stream, so that's why I'm here. Typically, you can catch me live Tuesdays and Thursday nights, and then I just do a lot of daily videos. Thanks for watching, everybody who tuned in. Thanks to all my guests. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet. Yeah, there'll be some videos here. I guess I'm just going to leave this whole stream up. Why not? Who cares? If you made it all this way, tell me in the comments. I'll give you a prize.